what mile per hour wind would we need for this thing to rip off the top of the truck? Because it was insane at a couple of places. Like, I can sleep through anything. There were no leaderboards. They just said, you're in a strong position. And I was like, this a-hole's saying that to everyone. They're going to tow us out of here. If we break down out here, this is where the car dies. Like, we will have to hike out of here because there's no way if we break down out here, we just die out here because we're thousands of miles into the wilderness.
Hey there, I'm Nathan. This here is Johnny Danger. And you're listening to the Trailhead Podcast.
Wake it up, let it roar, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailhead's calling, engine power on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every Jeep a home. Meet me at the trailhead, where the wild ones run. The dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.
Welcome back to the Trailhead. In this episode of Trail Hero Expedition Spotlights, we're hanging out with a team that's turned trail into family tradition. Nathan and Susan Savka make up Team Danger Zone. And Johnny, why is that not included in that? And while they're newcomers to overlanding world, you wouldn't know it from watching them hustle sand, rock, and checkpoints at Trail Hero X. Nathan is a show regular, our most prolific voicemailer, a true friend of the show. And in this episode, we finally get to hear from his better half and how this adventure unfolded in this close-knit family. It was really great meeting Nathan, Susan, and of course Johnny face-to-face and watching them take on this challenge together. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, welcome back to the show, Nathan, and welcome to the show officially, Susan. I know you've heard many a time, I'm going to go do that thing with those stupid people, but now you're doing the thing with the stupid people. Welcome.
I can officially say it's my first and probably only podcast appearance.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, as a person who does podcasts and records them, that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do for yourself. So
one and done.
One and done. Does that go for TV shows too?
Quite possibly, yeah. I had to be talked to this one.
And we're going to talk about that. That's awesome. Nathan, so you've been on the show a number of times. You've been on the show on a weekly basis, so we kind of know what your build is, and so we kind of know all those kind of basics about you. And if you don't know that about Nathan, he has a whole episode all about him. You can go back and check that out, and I'll link to that in the show notes, and kind of just get to know what he wheels with on a regular basis. It gives you a better idea of what he came out to Trail Hero X with. But to that end, Nathan, do the basics for most people who are, if they're listening fresh and they haven't heard anything else before. What are you running in terms of a vehicle, and then kind of some of the basic gear you have?
Yeah, so to break it down, simple high view there, it's a 2020 Jeep Gladiator, about 4.25 inches of lift, 37-inch Kenda Cleaver MT2 tires. Aside from a few accessories here or there, the main things for the event that we just did would have been the truck bed rack and then the outdoor Motorland Works tent that I actually borrowed from Ben, who owns Truck, and that we needed because we didn't have like you mentioned, this was our first overlanding experience. So we definitely had a bunch of off-road gear, but nothing for, going beyond one day at a time type of deal.
Gotcha. Lots of tents, or just one big tent?
I got lots of tents from camping over the years, but figured we wanted the rooftop tent for a space issue because we knew the bed was going to be filled with all the other gear. Didn't want to have to worry about having the tent packed in there with everything else.
I was kind of surprised by the number of people who were tenting it in general. Like, I expected a lot more pop-ups.
I liked it because, to be honest, I even talked with Susan a bit as we were getting ready for it. Since it's not what we normally do, I was expecting to be like the least prepared from like all the overlanding, like all the fun accessories that you see everybody always has to have for that kind of stuff. Like, I expected everybody to be like fully kitted out for, rooftop tent, the cooking kitchens and all that fun stuff. But I was actually glad to see that there was a nice like full spectrum of vehicles and like participants, kind of how they tackled it.
Yeah, I feel like there was maybe 2 vehicles that I would consider quote unquote fully kitted out, and even that's a stretch because I think everybody needs a little bit different. And you probably walked away from this going, "Here's what I liked and what I didn't about what we went out there with this setup."
Absolutely.
I see Susan shaking her head. She's like, "Yeah."
Definitely.
Did you like the rooftop tent?
I loved it. Except for that one night in Zion when it was so windy and I didn't have cell service and I was sitting there Googling to see what mile per hour wind would we need for this thing to rip off the top of the truck, because it was insane at a couple of places. Like,
Yeah.
I can sleep through anything. I could not sleep through that wind, and I was worried. I was like, maybe I need to get in the truck instead of on top of it because we're gonna Dorothy away.
And I actually thought the first night in Pine Valley was windier. At least the wind woke me up a lot throughout the night that night.
Okay, that's where I was at. And I know we were kind of tucked into the trees, which would have been probably pretty nice for y'all. But even people in tents in the trees were saying it was pretty bad. Yeah, I loved it. It was fantastic. But then again, I had the hard-sided camper thing. So
Yeah, the first night we had the roof open, so we had, because it was warmer, so we had all of the vents open and the wind kind of went through. So it was definitely, it might have been windier. I can't speak to that. Like,
Didn't catch the tent.
it didn't catch and rock the tent because it went through, and I loved it.
nice. You're a weird cat. It's going to be real interesting to watch you grow in as an off-roader. As being dragged, kicking and screaming into it, which we'll get more into later because I can't wait to talk about that part too.
Remember when we
That's
talked
fun.
about it, I actually started with her Jeep. She had a Jeep before.
I actually started the off-roading in this family. Not you started
That's
with my
right.
Jeep. Thank you,
That's
sir.
how I got started. We bought a Jeep. We bought you a Jeep.
Okay, I'm just gonna let this fight play out here on.
It
so
was,
you had. Because you had the Renegade, right? That was yours.
I did. It
The
was
one
mine.
that lit on. Okay.
I loved it. I wanted a small SUV. I wasn't loyal to any brand, any make, model. Didn't go into it with the intention of going off-roading or anything. Went into it with the intention of, I have a daughter that in 4 years will be getting her license, and I want a small SUV that is family friendly for, at the time, the family of 4 of us to be able to go around. I work from home, so I didn't need anything to be able to travel long distance, just really the grocery getter, the, to and from practices. And I am not a minivan person, so I didn't want anything like that. So we settled on the Jeep Renegade because
We looked at Wranglers.
And then I found out that they didn't have airbags in the back. I wanted a Wrangler, and I found out they didn't have airbags in the back. And try as he might, he tried to convince me that a roll cage is safer than rear airbags. But the mom and me said, I don't know if I trust you, and I want the airbags.
Hindsight, that was probably wrong. But also, little did we know we only really had to wait a year because that was 2017. So they were still the JK U's we were looking at. And then the JLUs came out, and they have the rear side curtain airbags and everything.
They have all the curtains.
Had I had known.
Yeah. You seem real heartbroken about that, Susan. Yeah.
I really liked, so I had the My Sky panels, the whole top would come off for me. So I did like that aspect, and my girls loved it. And then it was a fun little vehicle, although diehard Jeep people will say it's not a Jeep. And I was told that a few times, and I am a sassy person, and I was like, I'll hold my drink. It's not a Jeep. We'll see what this can do. We live in the Butler, Pennsylvania area, and they have Bantam Jeep Fest every year. So we decided, let's go see what this little Jeep can do. Let's go off-roading. And we were hooked. The girls loved it. There were so many people that are like, are you sure you want to take this on that trail? Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? My favorite line was, how confident are you in this vehicle? And I said, very confident. And then the gentleman rephrased his question and he said, how confident are you in your driving abilities? And I put my window up. And I was done with that conversation. And, you can walk away now.
That's fair. I feel like one question is enough. Like you get one or the other, right? Like, are you confident? And you could have wrapped it into one. Like, are you confident in your vehicle and your driving skills? And that would have been sufficient. Been like, okay, well, then go for it.
Yeah, and
but it was the second question.
It was the second question that I was like, oh, you're not a nice human.
That happens.
I do
that
get
happens.
it because they don't want to have it's all volunteers. And our perspective has changed on that event over the years too, because we've been going since 2018 when we started with her Renegade. And in the beginning, you get frustrated because you wait like an hour to get on a trail. They'd have a lot of, let's call it like infrastructure issues, but then you realize like it's all people donating their time. So I get it. Like if you go out there and you crush your Jeep on the trail, they don't want to get blamed. Like, hey,
this is your
how'd you let me do this? This is my daily driver type of scenario. So I understand some of it. But it is unique. It is interesting kind of seeing it grow over the years too, because we started going in 18 as literally the only Renegade. And probably at least 2, if not 3 years, we're probably the only Renegade.
Let's rephrase. We were the only Renegade that we saw.
Yeah.
So there might have been
now
others.
You see a bunch of them when you go.
See a bunch
so
of them.
I'm happy to see that. And I did like the one year we were up there. I think it might have been the last year they did the trail through the state park up there. I'm blanking on the name of the park off the top of my head. Marine State Park. There's one trail they would always, it's a horse path, and then they would get permission to use it as a Jeep trail. It got rutted out real bad the one year, and I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but we got stuck on that trail for 3 hours because they kept sending Jeep rides out and there was no service. They couldn't communicate back that they couldn't get Jeeps through this one section until we all piled up. And there might have been 200 Jeeps out in the woods at one point, and they eventually were able to get some off to the side that couldn't make it through, so the other ones could get through. And then once they finally stopped they realized that when they had no more trail guides to send because they were all out in the woods. So they finally were able to get the other ones to the side so everyone else could get through, and then they could take the ones that couldn't make it backwards out of the trail. But that's always our one claim to fame that year is her Renegade made it through where some Wranglers couldn't. Because you have everyone on the full spectrum of setups there. You have some Wranglers that show up on their 31-inch dual street tires. They couldn't make it through. We did some belly rubbing, but her Renegade made it through.
A lot of times, especially with some of the smaller vehicles like the Renegades and stuff, it's all about the tires, like tire size, but the wheelbase that you've got, the weight that you've got or don't have to deal with to get over stuff. And yeah, you might scrape a little bit, but sometimes you can make it up. Look what Jason did with team number 2.
Oh yeah,
so he's now running 35s, by the way. I'm letting everybody know
that. I saw the upgrade.
So I told him, he's like, that's all I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, you did the lift and then you weren't going to do tires. And
we'll see him in October and it'll be all different.
Yep, exactly. We're all going to be at Trail Hero, and he's going to be there with it's going to have monster tires on it. And it's going to be lifted 9 inches or something with portals.
Full coilovers.
Yep. Oh boy. So Susan, how were you always like an outdoorsy person at all, or was this kind of a new thing for you too?
So I love being outside. We've always gone camping. I grew up on a dirt road in Western Pennsylvania, surrounded by cow farms, and my parents still live there to this day. So I really like the off-roading because our road was definitely an unimproved roadway in Pennsylvania, although I don't think we have those signs, but I think we need them. And I, grew up very much home based. We had chickens. We had our own huge farm or huge garden set up that we would grow and can. And, so all of the outdoors, I've loved it my whole life, fishing, hiking, all of that. Yeah. So that aspect of it, I was totally on board for all of we're going to go out into the wild and be off the grid for a week. And are you in?
Congratulations on growing up with that, like being an everyday thing and not completely rejecting it as you got older and be like, yeah, I just want air conditioning for the rest of my life.
If I didn't have to wear another pair of shoes for the rest of my life, I'd be really happy. We got married. I didn't have shoes on. I am a barefoot person. I want to be out there. I want to be dirty. I want my kids to be feral and dirty, as you will see, Johnny. It's the best upbringing, teaching little boys to be little boys. And yeah.
Don't let her fool you though. Once we bought a tow behind camper trailer, it was hard to get her back to a tent.
It is. Okay. So that is more about back problems than not.
Running water.
That's more
And
of an
running
age
water.
thing,
I really
yes.
did like to be able to have a bathroom because of children growing up.
Okay, that's fair too. Yeah. I think there's a place for it, especially, I've had this conversation with a few people, all of us here except Susan are getting older. And, I don't mind sleeping on an air mattress, once in a while, but man, I'd much rather have like a real mattress and not have to wrestle with a zipper in order to get to my bathroom at night.
Yes, same.
I will say I was impressed with the tent mattress did not kill my back.
Okay.
Normally I have like some hotel beds will just kill me. And like the beginning in the morning, I'm just basically crippled until my back recovers. But I was impressed that the mattress didn't. Now, yeah, when you got to wake up to pee in the middle of the night, having to shuffle down a ladder after putting your shoes on in the air, that makes it a little more
I
complicated.
don't understand why any of you did that. Like, you are men. I have to do that. I have to shuffle down the ladder, but he didn't have to. Everybody's asleep. It's 5 a.m. Like, ain't nobody out there. You could literally just unzip and pee.
That I could have, except in Zion, it would have been way too close to another person's tent. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand and fully endorse and appreciate what you're saying. Yes, we'll just leave it at yes. Yes, I don't understand why.
Yeah, I went up and down the ladder one time without shoes on, and I learned real quick that the ladder rungs are too narrow and I weigh too much, that I need that extra support because they just like cut into the bottom of your feet. So I was like, nope, you got to take that extra minute to put your shoes on when you go up and down.
Yeah, I did that and actually cut my foot on a rock.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a good time. Zion was a rough night. The sunset was amazing, but it was a rough night. Let's get into it then. Nathan comes to you and says, so they're doing this thing in the desert and I'm going to apply for it. And you say,
sure. So he came to me and he's like, there's a possibility that they're doing this competition and they're only selecting so many people and there's going to be thousands of applicants and there's no way we're getting in. But if we got in, it would be in the spring and it would be camping all over Utah, Nevada, Arizona area. Would you be in? And I said, if we can bring Johnny. So that was my answer. Well, it was if it doesn't mess with any senior activities, because we have a senior in high school. So if it didn't mess with any of the school stuff, if I wasn't going to miss anything, and if we could bring Johnny, sure.
Yeah, because if you remember, JD, after that first initial interview you did with Rich, that's when I first heard about it. There was no date locked in. There was no, cost of investment locked in. So it was like very much an unknown type of scenario. And to be honest, I never even expected her to want to go because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get her committed. I knew she wasn't going to drive out there cross country. So I knew a plane flight had to happen. I was like, well, if there's nothing school going on, our oldest might want to go. She has a Jeep. She really likes off-roading. Maybe she'll be my co-pilot. I was like, worst case scenario, my father might be interested. He just retired. So like, I was not fully expecting to drag her cross country for this, especially once there was like the competition aspect of it. Because as you know, having the conversations there, she was not interested in the competition side at all.
No.
I think the Grand Canyon is how I got.
It's also
I think the Grand Canyon. Yeah. We'll talk about that too. I think the Grand Canyon is what got a lot of people. I started looking. Everybody I've talked to, they're always just like, man. And then when I got to the Grand Canyon, like all of that stress, like from the first couple of days, all of that went away. Everybody was just like that clicked for everybody that day. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, especially like the way it was set up. So you're on the North Rim and we came through a private ranch that we got permission to go through to get there. Like it isn't I walked through the gift shop and went out to the overlook deck and saw the Grand Canyon. Like what are the chances that you have that? Like even talking to people back here, spoiler free conversations. Absolutely. But just talking about, hey, we camped on the Grand Canyon and like, oh, I've been there one time. I'm like, no. Here's the picture into the canyon from the campsite. And they're like, oh,
we were here.
We didn't see that. Like
we were here with 20 people. Like there wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. You couldn't see anyone else. The closest we got was the people who were doing the boating down the Colorado River there.
Yeah.
And you had to use crazy zoom to even see them. Like, that's amazing. But yeah, so I agreed to go on this wild, this wild and crazy journey, thinking there's no way in hell they're going to let a 4-year-old go. Like, I was like, if Johnny goes, I'll go. But I said, I'm not leaving Johnny home with the grandparents. They're not going to let us on. They're, so I thought I had an out. Like, I thought I had an out. If he gets chosen, he'll have to find someone else. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll be the good wife and say, you can do this, knowing that we're never going to get selected to do this with our co-pilot.
Yeah, because that was my first question when we got the email that said, hey, you're on the next round. Any questions type of scenarios? And my first question was, hey, my son's 4. He goes off-roading with us all the time. What's the, around that? Because I expected just even from, with the whole show and everything being set up, I expected there to be some type of liability issue where they don't want, a toddler there. Or I guess he's not technically a toddler anymore, but he's 4. But still, a younger child there just from, because there has to be insurance on the production and everything else. I figured somewhere there'd be a line item where somebody didn't want to deal with that liability-wise. And they're like, oh, no issues at all. We like that. We like that you're doing it as a family. So worked out.
I think it was different for them because it's a reality show and it's not like filming like Full House where they need to have 2 kids of the same age that are twins. Yeah. And they're just kind of filming what's happening anyway. So, and whether or not that's him, playing in the sand, throwing sand at you, or
losing
over your
his
head,
mind,
or losing his mind. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah.
He got the gambit that week.
We did. It was awesome to see kind of everybody. Like nobody had any issues. Like there wasn't a problem, and that should be the norm. But I think a lot of times you see, like if you're in a store or something like that, you can see some people are just like kids, and then it's like, yeah, but you can get none of that from anybody, and the whole time. In fact, if anything, it was fun to watch everybody kind of adopt him in some way, shape, or form over the course of the week.
It's the complete opposite. Like you said, no issues to the fact that the number of people that came up to us and they're like, hey, anything you need. For Johnny to make it a more enjoyable week for him. They're like, we have snacks, we have this. It was so many people were just, hey, we got so many things. If you need anything, just let us know.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of jives into the whole reason that,
we love
off-roading in general, because it's the most amazing group of people, whether it be everybody involved in the show out there or all the people that we know back here involved with it. Like we've never run into a scenario yet where we didn't feel that he was welcome there, whether he was loving it or having a meltdown.
Yeah. And it's unpredictable. Autism is unpredictable. So you don't know if you're going to get this smiling, happy little boy or if you're going to get meltdown world. Every day is something different. And that's exactly right. The Wheeling family that we have here, Wheeling Upright, Western PA. I'll give the plug.
Give them the plugs, all the plugs.
They've been amazing, and they are like our second family. They've embraced Taylor, my oldest, as she drives her Jeep off-road. My middle child also. They both love it, and they're embraced. When we show up without them, they're like, well, where are the kids? So it's always, where are the kids? And sometimes the parents like to go out without the kids. But at the same time, just knowing that they care. It was the same vibe on the show. It was the same vibe from the cast, the crew, everyone just embraced that. And it's amazing. You don't get that here. You don't get that in everyday life.
No, you don't. I think that's part of the glue that holds this community together is, sometimes you get the jerks that ask the second question that they shouldn't ask at the off-road park. But more often than not, you get the group of people that just willingly accept people and no matter what age they are, for who they are. And it was pretty awesome to see that. So, and I think we kind of blazed past it. For those of you who don't know, and can you explain, Johnny is autistic. He is nonverbal, correct?
Yes. So his name is Johnny Danger. It is his legal middle name. He's named John after almost every man in his life has John, either first name or middle name, from great grandfathers down to his dad.
Nice.
So the name was a given. And then my husband is into a lot of craziness. So Danger kind of just kind of fell into place there for John Danger.
Okay, and we'll get back to Johnny in just a second. But we have to talk about this for a second.
I have to tell Johnny's story. You have to tell the whole thing, like how the name came out to play,
well,
and then
you do. And this is coming from a person who's just learning this, because I don't remember hearing this during the course of the event. That this was his legal name, and I have all the questions.
Yeah.
How? All right. So, what was the pitch, Nathan? What was
No,
the
it wasn't
pitch?
him.
It wasn't even me. So
What?
It wasn't him.
like-
It wasn't me either.
like Susan said, John was locked in, knew long time ago.
Okay.
If I ever had a son, it would be hard to talk me out of that scenario. And it worked out because on both sides here, we both have a bunch of Johns. So that was easy.
Okay.
So we really had no middle name, and we had talked about a couple, but nothing really felt right. And he's not even born yet at this point. And we just happened to be hanging out with another couple that we're good friends with, and they have a son who's a little bit older than Johnny. And we were just hanging out, having dinner, talking. And eventually one of them mentioned, like, with all the crazy stuff that Nathan's done, his middle name's gonna be Danger or something like that. So we started calling him Johnny Danger for a while there. And it kind of just stuck, and we liked the sound of it. And we were like, because you figure if he doesn't like it later, he can go by John, he could go by JD. It gives him shortened options either way. And I always like to joke. I said, imagine with all the dumb stuff you get to in as a kid, and I'd be like, before you do something stupid, you're like, watch this, Danger's my middle name, and then you get to say, but it actually is. Then you get to go do something dumb, so I'm like, it just stuck, and we liked it, and we figured, why not? It's something fun. It's different. We had no other better option anywhere close, so why not?
I am in no way mocking. I think it is the most awesome. I think it's awesome.
We know some people, it won't be their cup of tea. My mother was like, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't."
Like,
and I said,
did you dishonor the family by not naming somebody or something, or is this just no? Then who cares? Yeah.
No, yeah. We didn't step on anyone because the main person that Nathan wanted to name him after was his grandfather, who was John Savka. John Savka did not have a middle name.
Yeah, my grandfather didn't have a middle name, and both my middle name and my father's middle name were John after him. So, then, like, she said,
John wasn't really going to be an option for you.
And it worked out because her father is named John,
and then my grandfathers, both grandfathers' middle name was John.
So we covered really all the bases with the first name. So the middle name was just open to whatever we felt like.
I feel like you guys had a lot of leeway, and I think you used it wisely.
We did.
I endorse all of this wholeheartedly. Yes.
And if anybody out there hates it,
that's their problem.
I'm going to put my window up.
You know what? You can call us at 719-408-310 or 0132, and I will not play your message because I don't care. I hate to tell you this. I just don't. Yeah, that's fantastic, guys. All right. So you guys came. You said you had the two daughters, and they could not or they didn't want to come, right?
Want to come.
Did not want to come. Too old for that now?
They're teenagers. They don't want the publicity side of a TV show aspect. Then, like Susan said, the oldest had a lot going on, senior high school related activities. So
yeah. So
although I'm surprised a teenager said no to publicity.
Oh, they both were like, don't say our names. Don't we don't really want to be out there. And I think I've slipped twice talking about my oldest and slipping her name in there because she drives a Jeep as well, and I'll tell a story about her and I slide it in there. But that middle one, she's scot-free. So
all right, fair enough. That's fair enough.
I was going to get big cardboard cutouts of them to put in the back seat so they'd still be on camera. They didn't like that idea.
They were so mad. They were like, don't you dare. Don't
see,
embarrass.
The thing is, don't say things like that because you could still do it. Like, they make those little window shades that are made of like people, like the queen, like you can get the queen mom and stuff. Like you could do that. Just send them a picture. You can get a custom one made.
They would. I don't think they would ever talk to us again. I think that
Well, it depends on what your goals are for that week.
Yeah. So he came to me, and when he's telling me we're going to do this, or we might be doing this, I said okay, and he said we get to talk about autism, and then I said, oh, okay. We're always advocates for for a lot of things, for mental health, for autism, for LGBTQ. We're advocates for literally anything out there for human rights, right?
Or in this specific instance, people that literally don't have a voice for themselves.
Yes, in this instance, correct. Yeah. So we were blessed with Johnny. He was kind of a miracle baby. I found out that I was pregnant at the beginning of COVID when COVID was starting, so about February.
Mm.
I found out I was pregnant, and then the world shut down in March. And then I found out that I had a miscarriage in April. So it was kind of crazy, but that was when you don't go to the hospital, you don't go to the doctors. You know, I've had two live births. Like, I understand what a pregnancy is like. I understand what a miscarriage would be like. And I had a rough time of it with the miscarriage, and it is Memorial Day weekend, and my life's still not quite back to normal. And we find out that, or I'm sorry, I'm getting dizzy, and my blood pressure is not quite what it should be. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the doctors. So I had not been since February when I found out I was pregnant, and then I had the miscarriage. So I thought everything was, done, and we were just gonna wait to get life back to normal. And it turns out that I had a partial miscarriage. So Johnny would have been multiples, had my pregnancy continued as planned, but it did not. So Johnny is a miracle that he is still here with us, especially going 5 months without prenatal care. So at Memorial Day weekend, I went to the doctor, and they're like, hold up. You're not back to normal. Let's do all these testing. And then they said, you have a completely normal, healthy, happy little boy. But there's some scarring. So we do see that this would have been
Twins.
Multiples. They never said
Right.
what it was, but we were left with Johnny, and he's been the light of our life. Miracle baby from day one. And then he's progressing normal, the same as his older sisters. And, the first year and a half were normal, 18 months were normal. He had words, he would make eye contact, I love you. He would call mama, he would say things. And then he lost it all. And then it was almost like overnight that he lost his ability to use any of the words that he had. So at 18 months, he probably had a vocabulary of about like 6 or 7 words. Mom, dad, he would say, I love you. He would ask for the cat. He would ask for balls. He would, just various things, and just like a switch.
It's gone. Yeah.
It was gone. And I knew something wasn't quite right. And it took me about 4 or 5 months to convince Nathan that something wasn't the same.
Yeah, because of course I'm in the denial part of it. I'm like, he's a baby. Yeah, they all learn at their own different rates. Like, he'll get there, like that type of deal. And she's like, no, she's like, I've done this twice before. This isn't how it was with the other two.
So Nathan is not the girl's dad. So he wasn't around during this portion of their lives. So he didn't get to see the 18 months and the progression. And I do have some friends with autistic children. And I said, this baby is very much like so-and-so's son. This baby is showing us, and then of course, Google, we all become doctors. So I get him on every list possible. And he was on early intervention before he hit 2. So we had therapy coming to the house, speech therapy, occupational therapy to help him learn and progress. And we were taking him to therapy as well. So he had like 2 hours.
4 days a week.
4 days a week therapy, which my employer was amazing and allowed me to do and flex my schedule around. And then the day after his 3rd birthday, they try not to diagnose until 3 in the state of Pennsylvania. The day after his 3rd birthday, they said, okay, Johnny's on the spectrum.
Well, that was before that, because day after he turned 3, he started at Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had
You're right.
by just shortly after 2.
After 2, so reverse that. Right after 2, we had him diagnosed. They do try not to diagnose until about 3 in the state of Pennsylvania, but it was very evident that he had milestones and lost them, which is very clear. And everybody who sees Johnny will be able to tell that he wasn't misdiagnosed. He's very clearly autistic, but he's nonverbal autistic, and they're not sure if that will stay. So he goes to a private school, Watson Institute in Sewickley, Pennsylvania, and they are amazing with him. They have helped so much with the temper tantrums. Imagine not being able to speak for yourself and really wanting a piece of bread. Like, we're having dinner, you really want a piece of garlic bread, can see it, but you can't tell your mom and dad that they can have it or that you want it, and just losing your mind because you can't speak for yourself. And why doesn't anyone understand me? Why doesn't anyone know I need this bread? That was literally our night tonight. He lost it at the dinner table because he wanted garlic bread. With Nathan saying that we get to go out there and we get to be the voice, we get to share this with the world. You don't really typically see things like this in motorsports. You don't see this in this realm as much. I'm not as familiar, forgive me if there are people out there championing for this and speaking about it within this realm. But I
don't see enough of it.
You see enough of it, which is
no,
good.
I don't see enough of it. No,
you
I don't.
See I thought you did.
No.
There's a handful of good ones out there. There's a couple. Autism 4x4 is a real good one that I follow his channel, and I've talked with him back and forth on Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, not enough of it, and that's why, going back to her one comment back in the beginning of talking about doing this event, I told her, I'm like, not that I wasn't going to turn down, like, sponsors if I found a company that wanted to work with us. But, like, even in my initial, I called it cold calling, but basically, like, emailing and contacting, like, marketing departments and stuff, I was very clear that our message was about the autism awareness and the family aspect of it, and if they didn't like that, that's fine. I don't care. I don't need to work with those, those individuals or corporations or whatever it was. But that was my goal, because enough people are going to be able to go online and see somebody talking about tires and suspension and, name any aspect of any part you could buy. I wasn't really concerned about that aspect of it.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and I don't think it's going to be too controversial. And Susan, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but this is a traditionally male-dominated sport. I can tell you from our listener statistics that the majority of the folks listening to this episode right now are men, and that historically men don't like to talk about mental health in any way, shape, or form, whether or not it's situations of autism to their own mental health. So I'm not surprised. It's nice to see this stuff happening more so that it is being talked about.
Yeah. No, men never talk about their mental health. From my experience, there are a few
Most
out
of us
there
don't.
that are,
Yeah.
that are wonderful and open, and even a lot of women are still ashamed to say, "Hey, I'm not okay." They feel, people in general, it's human nature to be embarrassed of your shortcomings, and people foresee these as shortcomings, mental health, autism, they call it a disability. It can be disabling. I agree with that. It can be, but it is a spectrum. So with everything, there's variations of levels. So just like someone's anxiety could be a disability, they could possibly not be able to go out and function in normal society. So can autism. You can need support and help for the rest of your life. You might not be able to be out there and contributing to society as we normally see. But it doesn't mean that it's a disability for everyone. And that is what I really wanted everyone to see, is that, yes, our child is a high need, because he's 4. Every 4-year-old is a high need. He is,
I was going to say, like, I've never been a 4-year-old that's easy. Yeah.
That is easy. But so right now he's demanding and he's high need and he throws temper tantrums. Is that autism or is that a 4-year-old? We don't know right now, because it is a spectrum. We do know that at this point in time, Johnny is nonverbal. But
as you noticed, not non-vocal.
He'll
definitely let you know when he's happy, mad, whatever it might be.
He lets you know if he wants the garlic bread.
He's very expressive.
Yes, he is. And more, even throughout the course of this amazing week, he had 4 new words pop up. Words that he doesn't say normally. The biggest one, umbrella.
Yeah, he said umbrella while we were
Umbrella.
at Sand Hollow because I let him play with an umbrella. She wanted to use it to shade him from the sun, and then it instantly became a toy.
Yeah,
But-
because he doesn't like sunscreen, and he kind of broke out when I put it on his face, and we're not used to that level of sun. So I was like, okay, I'll use this umbrella to give you shade while you play in the sand. And then he was like, oh, umbrella, it's amazing. That's a 3-syllable word. That's not easy.
Yeah.
He says that. And
That's
he,
awesome.
he says what he wants, but on his terms. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that Johnny will eventually be verbal to some extent. Because he will ask for things. He'll say balloon. He'll say mom. He'll say dad. He will tell me he loves me. He'll say birdies and
He'll say no.
beans. He'll say yes. The trip. Before this trip, he never said yes and he never said no. And now he will. A week.
Interesting.
Of uninterrupted mom and dad time.
And I think one of the biggest things, and I think we talked about it there in one of the interview segments there. I can't remember if it was the one that you were at or not. One of the things that's common with autism, and Johnny shares it as well, is the social aspect where they're fine with us being around and he'll interact with us if we ask for it, but he really doesn't care. He's I'm gonna play by myself. Like mom and dad can sit here with me. I don't care. If we ask him for hugs, his typical thing is if we'll put our arms on, say hug. He'll either rest his head on you or he'll just kind of walk towards you, then turn around and back into you and basically let you kind of hug him. And then that's it. That's the hug you're gonna get. He's not going to initiate it or anything like that. Except for on this trip, the first night at camp there in Pine Valley, he basically asked her to kind of hug him. He put his arms around her, was hugging her, was nestling his head up against her face, and then he turned and kissed her on the cheek, which that's not something he does.
Has never happened unrequested.
You guys gotta stop telling me that story.
And probably even the best aspect of it, somehow I had the phone, so I got a picture of it, so I even got proof it happened.
And then he's going to claim that was him, but no. Okay, so he walks up to me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Johnny asked me to hug him. Can you take a picture of this?" I'm sitting there hugging him as he sits on the driver's seat of the Jeep, and he took a picture from behind us, and then he walks around the Jeep, opens the passenger door, and takes a few pictures in, and Johnny kissed me while dad was taking the picture.
And then he looks at me and I got a picture of him giving me a look like, how dare you take a picture of that?
You know?
He's like, that was for mom, not for you or anybody else.
We have
that wasn't for anybody but the...
We have the whole thing. We have the hug, we have the kiss, and we have the get out. This is private.
The betrayal. Yeah, that's what you label that one as, the betrayal. That's awesome. I feel like if you've watched the show at this point and listening to this episode, you've probably heard that story. But since I have left that event, I have been unable to finish that story without choking at some level. So it's beautiful. And it was absolutely awesome for you guys.
And Trail Hero gave me that.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's fantastic.
Allowing myself to be out of my comfort zone. And we'll get into it, that this was far from my comfort zone, but allowing myself to be out of it and overcoming my own obstacles and hurdles gave me that time with my husband and my son.
Yeah. When we get to the end of our conversation today, I think that's the piece that I will probably take away from this. And I took away from it from just talking to you guys at the event and Nathan afterwards. So you guys do the adventure piece, you sign up to do it. Susan, I think we said at some point you said you were willing to do this and we were good to go, right? We covered all that piece, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was totally in once he said we could talk about Johnny.
Okay.
Apprehensive, but in.
Apprehensive is okay. I feel like that's appropriate. Yeah. I feel like that's
our first video call there with Rich, and we get off and we realize that, hey, they're still picking the final group, but there's only 40 people left in the pool at that time. She turns to me, she's like, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation went well with him. We talked about Johnny a lot and stuff like that. And I'm like, I think they're going to eventually tell us, hey, you're in. So now it's like real. Now we got to make it happen and plan how, I'm getting there with the Jeep. We're getting them there. we got to both tell our respective workplaces, hey, guess what? We're taking this time off, stuff like that. So it was like, hey, and now I'm like, oh, the list of stuff runs in my head. Like, what do I need for the Jeep to camp out of it for? It was kind of like a big fast forward all of a sudden because like it wasn't real until about that time.
Yeah. And I will tell you what I've told everybody else in these conversations because I think everybody felt very overwhelmed with the timeline. And I think that in talking with Rich, both before, during, and after the event, I think he, as the person who was setting the timeline, he felt overwhelmed.
I could only imagine. I had to get one vehicle prepared. He had to worry about a film crew. I mean, probably for every participant, there was at least a crew vehicle, if not more crew vehicles than participants. So like they had a lot more to get together than, each of us participants setting up one vehicle.
Yeah, it was and the other piece too that I still can't remember when he said this, but he did say this to many of us anyway. But he said that when he set this all up, he had been planning this route for quite some time, and he'd wanted to do this for some time. But he essentially got to the end of Trailhead, which would have been the end of October last year, about a week before we had that interview with him on the show, where he announced that he was going to do this. And apparently, at that point, when he announced on the show that they were going to do this whole thing, he had only decided to do it like 3 to 5 days before that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It really makes sense.
It should make you feel a whole lot better about things. In terms of timing.
I didn't decide to do it until March.
And there it is. And then, and I know, Nathan, we've had a conversation about trying to get sponsors last minute and all those kinds of things. So I think for everybody, it was a bit of a pull, but next time it'll be easier. But just don't feel so bad. It was nobody had a whole lot of time to make decisions.
Yeah, no, I felt
better.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it worked out great. I mean, there's no complaints as far as how everything was set up and the aspect of it.
Yeah,
as far as that goes, I was just worried. Like right now, we're 7 days away from leaving for a cruise to Alaska here that we've had planned for over a year. That was like our big family vacation this year. And then I'm like,
by the way,
this other vacation that is not cheap either, by the way. So like, it was kind of like I sprung all this on her last minute. So I was more worried, like trying to pound the pavement, to find some sponsors just to kind of alleviate that last minute burden on top of everything else that
I was mad.
And she was mad. She's like, stop worrying about the money. We're doing it. We're fine. And I'm just like, keep going at it. She's like, I told you to stop. So then eventually it's just like, all right, it is what it is. I tapped out on that because she was getting more stressed out with how stressed out I was getting, thinking I was stressing her out.
Yeah.
It was just a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
No, I came to the point where I said, he was like, I don't know that we're going to get any sponsors. I said, okay, so we buy a rooftop tent. Okay. It's not money that we had budgeted for. It wasn't in the savings accounts. But this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We live in Western Pennsylvania, for crying out loud. We're never going to be given this opportunity again, for any part of it, for any of the aspect. This is a trail that has been, set up for us, and it's a television show, and it's the competition part, and it's every part of this for most people will not happen in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Let alone mashing it all together. And we're both at a place in our life where our bosses, thank you, Mike and Steven, both really appreciate us, and we're able to approve that PTO on top of us now leaving in a couple of weeks for a couple of weeks. So we were very blessed there that we had the ability to do so with work. We were blessed that it didn't interact too much with the children. Our older 2 children still were able to go about life as normal. And he's over here stressing out because I don't have a fridge. We're going to be in the desert. I don't have a fridge. How are we going to keep food cold? Then the opposite of that is if it's cold, we don't have a heater. If it's weather's unpredictable, what do? We don't have a rooftop tent. And he's just making the list of everything and all of the money. And I said, it's worth it to go in debt for this, in my opinion, because it's a once in a lifetime thing, and it's a family thing. It wasn't like it was just him adding on a lift kit, because that we would not go into debt for. That is a pre-planned, line item.
That's fair.
But this is a once in a lifetime thing. So I told him, you bring this up one more time, I'm done. Like, I was like, I will be out because you are stressing me out. We are done. So
Nice.
we did it all without a sponsor. We did it with
Yes.
some amazing, wonderful humans.
Yeah.
So our team logo was made by one of my best friends. Her significant other is a tattoo artist. He's done all of my work.
Nice.
He designed the Danger Zone logo for us. And then we had some
Yeah, like I mentioned, Ben from
Ben,
Truck
a really good friend
us
of ours.
his personal rooftop
That's pretty cool,
tent
though.
out of his garage. So I mean, and I didn't even ask him. I was talking to him about something different. I can't remember if it was tent related or what, but he's just like, "Hey, I got an extra one if you want to borrow it." And I'm like, because he had
Amazing
upgraded from
humans.
the soft one to a hard one. I'm like, absolutely. If you're willing to do that, I ain't gonna say no to that. I said, that's perfect, because we had talked about, buying one, and then if we didn't use it, then we would just sell it later, basically buy it for this, sell it at a loss. Someone will eventually want it, something like along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he helped
Well,
us out. Yeah, and then I actually, again, wasn't even looking for a sponsor. I actually just reached out to the Snail Trail podcast for their call-in episode to see if they were going to be there, because I had no idea that MORRFlate even was sponsoring the show at that point, because he hadn't talked about it on the podcast.
You really
I just had
didn't?
listened to the podcast for a number of years. I worked with Jimmy on there when he was first trying to set up his snail armor tailgate for the Gladiator. So
Okay.
he sent me one of those to test units to fit on my Gladiator years ago. So that's how I ended up with that unit. So I was just like, hey, to see if you guys are going to be at the show, because I knew it was out there, way out west, because they're out of California, and like they're so behind on their voicemail episodes. The one day I get this text message, and he's like, "Oh, this is Tyler from MORRFlate. Just listen to your voicemail." He's like, and started asking me about the event, and said, "Hey, I'd like to send you some equipment if that works for you." I'm like, "Absolutely, I'm not going to say no." He's like, "Great." He's like, "Send me your information." He's like, "I'll get it to my my marketing manager, and he'll get it shipped out right to you." I'm like, awesome. And he confirmed like when I was leaving and stuff. And then I got the email, and I go, "Hey, I really appreciate it." I said, "But there might be a problem." I was like, "It's going to show up that evening that I'm on the road at like 7 a.m. So he actually was able to, once UPS picked it up, divert it to the UPS store in Mesquite, Nevada.
That's
So
awesome.
literally I drove cross country before I hit the casino. I hit Mesquite, Nevada, picked up a big box, threw it in the back seat, and I actually opened everything up in the parking lot there. So like when we were there and we had to use the air compressor during the event, and she had to use the air compressor, that was the first time that the air compressor, the hose kit, had ever been used. Like, I'd seen them before. I knew the basic functionality of it from having other people here that have them, but I'd never put hands on one and used it. Never used
Still
this
had the
one.
plastic wrap
Like,
on
it was brand new, and she had to use it, and I couldn't help her.
Well, and we're going to divert back. Right, I can tell we already were getting off on a tangent, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Did you had another inflation system, didn't you, or no?
So
Did.
I used to use an 18-volt Ryobi air compressor that I really liked, simply because you could set the PSI on it, and I would just do other stuff at the end of the day from the trail while fill one tire at a time.
Yep.
And then she surprised me for
It's
Christmas.
annoying.
I had been looking at bigger
That's-
compressors like the MORRFlate kit, and stuff like that. And
nothing. Okay, so stop. So nothing sucks more than at the end of the day, you've been off-roading for probably 8 hours.
yeah.
You want a bathroom and you want to be home. You don't want to be in this vehicle anymore. And he says, I'm going to take 35 minutes to air up all 4 of these tires because I aired down to this little, I'm sorry, Ryobi, but it's a little dinky thing. It is great for putting air into, your kids' bikes, for putting air into a flat.
A single tire in a Renegade.
A single tire. Exactly.
It aired up the 35s.
It absolutely aired up the 35s in 35 minutes. And I was done. And so after a year of that, I said, this is awful. Right. I am going to make this Christmas present to him a Christmas present to me. Nice. And my time, because time is money, right? And got him one that he could make a kit for. He wanted to make a kit to do all 4 tires at once, but I bought him a beautiful one that I thought was beautiful. And
it was orange, so
it was orange.
It was on
nice. Okay, there you go. It was on brand. It was on brand. Yes,
it was on brand, and so we had that. That's what he's been using for a while.
I was only still set up to do 1 tire at a time because I have all the parts. I've never built the 4-tire inflation kit. They're just
because he's a bit lazy.
Someone keeps me busy.
If he's anything like me, I also have the parts to a never assembled self-made air inflation system and my own air inflation system in the garage. So I get it.
I think everybody has lofty dreams, but life gets in the way, and we have too much on our plates to do on a daily that these lofty dreams get put off until we retire.
Yeah.
And like it's I'd love to have it, but it's also hard to be like, hey, I'm going to dedicate an entire weekend, because you know how it is. Like, it seems so simple, but when you start to do it, like every time she asks me when I got to work on the cars or something like that, she goes, how long is it going to take? I said, I'm going to guess, and then we're going to double that, and then we'll probably be there. Like, that's like a safe number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of the best things I ever did for myself, there's like 3 upgrades that are on top of my list, and like the carburetor dash and like an onboard system for air was right up there, and getting the dual ARB and then getting hoses to go with it, and the 4 tires that changed everything too. That's a lot less pressure on the pump, so they air up faster. And like I got the new KO3s, and I was really worried it was going to take longer to air up, and it doesn't.
But it worked out. We didn't even bring that air compressor home with us. So
I was going to say that air compressor went home with somebody else, and for good reason though. And we'll talk about the adventure piece of it in a second, and let's talk about that piece, because you guys did, out of all of the challenges you guys didn't get disqualified from any of them, right? You weren't in any of the DQ teams?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So I want to share with you a moment that I had real fast, and that was on the first day. You guys are out there doing this, I think it was the second competition, which would have been the tire change challenge. And I had not seen the blindfold challenge the night before. I had been busy doing some other things with the production crew, and so I didn't get a chance to see you guys do that. I would have loved to, just so you know. I think it would have been amazing, and I can't wait to watch it.
Spoiler alert, I cry.
Oh.
But we finished. We got a time, which
that's okay. Susan, what you don't know, because you probably don't watch this show, is that Nathan cries in this show. So you're okay. There's those of us kind of standing at the edge of the competition, and there's just lots of activity going on down in the field where you guys are doing this. And I hear and see Susan just stand up and we're done. And I was just like I looked, I think it was Kimberly Gladplace. I looked at her and I'm just like, are you serious with this right now? Like, it was pretty impressive. Like, you guys killed it, like right out the gate. And I think that set the tone for you guys on the challenge piece of things.
Well, I think it did. No, you don't get to talk about this one. You can talk about others. You can talk about others, but it is not couth to talk about yourself. Okay. So I want to talk about my husband.
Okay. I like this.
He has
is Nathan going to like this?
Yeah, he's going to find out again. He loves anything that comes out of my mouth. So, I mean, but he has always been a master packer of everything. So your friend's moving, he's going to Jenga the shit out of that box truck, and he's going to have everything in there so nothing falls over. And then when you ask, where is X? We know exactly where it's at. That is how this man works. His facility at work, he knows exactly where everything is. He has the floor plans laid out in his head, probably. He could probably step it off in his sleep. He knows what he does. So that's his little bit of OCD. He is really organized. My husband is really organized. If I mess up his conditioner and his shampoo, he was not happy in the shower.
Wow.
So yeah, he's got a little bit of that OCD, more so than me. Everything has its place and everything's in its place.
You have like a super clean garage.
No,
oh God.
Well,
no.
put it this way: if you look at it, it's a complete shit show. But I know where everything is.
And if I go out there,
she starts like, moving stuff, and I'm like, whoa.
He gets so mad. So I never have to clean out the garage. So that's
I
a win.
clean it by myself.
That's
And then
a
I
win.
know where everything's at.
Also, fun fact for the ladies at home, I don't fold laundry right. My husband folds and puts away all of our laundry because I do not fold it up to his quality.
Wow.
So we know where Johnny gets some of it from.
Yes. Yeah. He comes by his OCD autism naturally, like undiagnosed, but it's in the family.
I relate on a lot of levels, Nathan.
Yeah.
I relate. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My garage is an absolute mess, but I knew where everything was on my way out the door.
Know where it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so he had us packed. He had everything there. He had his checklist. He checked it like 50,000 times. He made sure we had everything, because that was the worst thing. We joked about if we break down on the trail and we can't fix it ourselves, that, we're going to park really close to the campfire so that the truck doesn't make its way home because of how far we live. And, it would just be a much cheaper insurance claim.
Right. Okay.
It made it home. We did not commit insurance fraud.
That's what happened to the roof.
And we appreciate you. I was just about to thank you for not including me in your insurance fraud. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I mean, so it was a joke, but he also had everything he needed to fix it.
Yeah.
He had everything he needed. So he had an amazing, I want to call it a lift, but it was a jack, a hydraulic jack.
And that's the one, during the interview, I shot out my boss. So I was looking, I didn't have a good off-road jack solution. And we were talking, my boss and I were talking at work leading up to the event. And he mentioned, I said, to be honest, I don't. I said, you see those ones like the Badlands style off-road jack, and there's some of those other companies that make like the big roller jack. I'm like, I don't have space for something like that. I'm already hard prepped for space. So I said, I'm looking at this one, and it was that bottle jack stand combo that we ended up having for the event. And my boss, he's a great guy. He literally pulled $100 bill out of his pocket and said, here, buy it. I'm like, I laughed. I said, you don't have to do that. He goes, consider an insurance policy that if you get a flat tire, just make sure you get back here to be at work when you're supposed to get back to work. So he joked at it that way. But to be honest, that was, aside from having all the tools where we needed them and, knew where everything was and accessible, that, was the biggest part. Because otherwise, I'd probably been under there with the factory scissor jack. And you know how long it takes to get the axle off the ground with one of those.
I'm telling you, those of you who are out there listening and would like just a small nugget for yourselves. So it's something we've talked about once in a while on the show. Josh talked about it. He was a huge proponent of it. But a bottle jack with an axle cradle is way more than you need. It's way less space than the 3-ton jacks, and it's so much easier to maneuver.
It took up a square footage of maybe literally a square foot, not even. It was heavy. So it didn't shift in the bed of the truck. So that's a win.
There you go.
But it was easy to operate. I helped operate it. And he had a torque wrench packed. He had literally everything. Impact gun.
Did you have an impact gun? Really? That's a game changer. Yep.
And he had it all in a tote. So he knew where it was. He knew to get that tote out, and then he knew what to tell me what to do and how can I help him. And, he's like, you're going to build this long, weird stick thing that I'm going to put in here and
lower the spare tire.
We'll lower the tire down.
Yeah, I swear to you, it's not anything adult related. Yes. Okay.
It's not anything adult related. It did come in a little black bag though. So
there is that. Yep.
But he knew exactly what to do and exactly how to help me help him. And
she killed it. Like, I don't know if you were there when they kicked off the challenge after they started the conversation about the day. And then they're like, oh, you're going to have to change a tire. And they're like, now. And we're on the other side of the field from where they had us all parked. And people start running. She goes, I'm not running. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get over there and start pulling tools out.
I said, I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
I did hustle. There's a slight hustle. But I don't run unless someone's chasing me and it's for my life, or running to protect my child from falling off the porch or something like that.
Okay.
That's all you're going to get. Danger-related issues. Mostly Johnny.
Literally danger-related, yep. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to run. I envy the people who find peace in running. And it's just not me.
When he announced that, I didn't realize that's what he was going to do. But when he announced that, I immediately knew who was going to be running and who wasn't. And like, I watched the Adventure Lab guys just book it. And I was just like, yeah, they'll get there. And then I'm just like, but I don't even think they got close. That's kind of funny.
I don't know who came in second. I can't remember. But I mean, the reason it even worked out for us, because one, everything knew where it was and was accessible, and nothing happened in a vacuum. So like I said, in, the numerous times I talked about the challenges, like the only reason we did as good is because of how she performed in them. So like when I got over there and I pulled the tools out, she comes over, she goes, okay, what do you need me to do? And I said, hey, start putting together the arm
big long stick
to
thing.
lower the spare tire. So while she does that, I lay under and I get the jack under there and get it up to the axle. And I get the wheel up. By the time I do that, she's done with that. So I switch over. I said, okay, I'm going to drop the tire, pull the lugs off. So by the time I'm dropping the spare tire, she already has the wheel off. She had the lugs zipped off. And so I flop the wheel to the side. We throw the other one on there, and then we just rip them back on. We started the lugs, and while she's zipping them on, I laid down. As soon as she had them, I filled the jack, and that was it. We were done. And I still, up until the time they said that we won, I wasn't expecting it, because I could hear Rich and Glenn going back and forth, and I heard them talking about us. So I knew like us and another team were out ahead of it. Sounded like but like I kept waiting for them to yell that somebody else finished, up until the time where I turned the release on the jack and that tire fell. And I'm like, we're done. I was fully expecting somebody else to finish before us.
That's awesome.
I've never changed a tire before, and I never will again. But
she's like, I get AAA for that. I don't need that.
No.
She calls me.
That's fair too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that is not speaking against woman power.
No.
Everyone, you can do it.
No.
I am proof that you can do it, but why?
I'll change the tire on my Jeep. If I were to be on a road someplace and I have a problem, I'll change the tire on my Jeep. Unless it's like way too hot. That's a different discussion. But it's like my wife's car with a Camaro. Like I'm not doing that. I'm calling somebody. Like you come mess with this, because I'm not getting underneath that thing. I'm not. No.
Yeah, that's real low to the ground. Yeah. I mean, everybody has what they're comfortable with and what they want to do. And changing a tire is something that I've never wanted to do. I've never been in a situation either where I've had to. I've never been, hey, you're stranded, you have to change your tire.
There it is.
So I've never been there.
And I feel like if you were in that situation, like actually in that situation, you'd be able to change the tire regardless of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't look, it's 2025. We don't always have to do those things. Like like
your car might not include a spare tire anymore.
There's that too, right?
You'll get an inflate flat.
But it's like the 4-hose system, right? Like you can make your own 4-hose system, but by the time you get done with the money to just buy the parts and then the time to make it and test it and do the rest of it, it's going to cost you $50 more than if you just bought that really great system from MORRFlate or Thor's or whoever it is. And I think that's the thing you learn as you get a little bit older. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could talk about that too.
What, the things you learn as you get a little older? I'm sure we could have a whole show about that.
Oh, in inflating tires that I have never had to do on my own before either.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick before. So did you got the first competition and you did not run for the rest of it? Did you feel, and I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but you're not a competitive person, or you are?
So I'm a Virgo. I'm definitely a competitive person. I don't want my name to be on any list that's wrong, but my thing is I don't like competition.
Okay.
I have anxiety. I don't want to say so-and-so did better than me. I don't want that. I want to be number one, or I don't want to be on the list. Like that's me mentally. So when we went into this, I told Rich, I'm not competing. That'll be my husband, because that was one of our things. I said, can he do everything alone without me? Because I am there to be on Johnny duty. And he said, yes.
Yeah, and he knows this because I told him at the end of the event, I said, remember we had that conversation? I said, you lied to me because you said...
I don't know that he lied because I can't replay the whole conversation, but he misled us into thinking that Nathan could do it all his own.
Yeah, and then I said, you said that it could be a solo, I could take the handicap. And because I said, even if I'm going to change a tire by myself, obviously any two-person team is going to have an advantage over a single-person team. I said, but I'll still do it. And because I assumed that she was going to have not even the
Be
anxiety
chasing
part.
around a
I figured
baby.
we didn't expect Johnny to, be as chill as he was. So then I said, then we show up, and the curveball is almost every challenge has the co-driver involved in some way where the actual driver is hands off, whether it be the blindfold, the tire changing, the air up challenge. Like I said, so much for me having to do that all solo while she has Johnny.
Thank you so much, Trail Hero.
I mean, I think here's the thing. There's a couple of valid criticisms of things, and I think that all of us can agree. But it's one of those things where, I think that he may have oversold the ability to do this solo in a really competitive level. At least the way it was set up. So
yeah, it's hard.
It would have definitely been a different story. It would not have been easy to be competitive as a solo driver. Absolutely not.
I think Keenan would tell you, and I think Keenan and Fran, I haven't talked with her yet just about it yet, but I have a feeling that they would agree with that. I think that, I don't think it was Fran's intention initially to go solo, but I do think it was Keenan's. And I think it was kind of became clear that you really needed a co-pilot. But, as a person who wasn't even competing in the event, like I wasn't, Rich and I had a conversation about what we were going to do there as a show and how we were going to participate. And initially it was just going to be me. And it ended up just being me. But the thing for him is like, you're going to have a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot better for you if you have a co-driver and a co-pilot. Like it's going to be, everything's going to be better from not just doing your show and doing the podcast piece of everything, but just in general, having a partner with you to do all that stuff with you is going to make a big difference. So I get it. And I don't, I think that now that the show has seen a season, it'll be interesting to see how the solo versus non-solo teams kind of play out in future people who apply. At this point, you are definitely competitive. You just told Rich you're not going to be a competitor, and now we're on day 3.
I said I don't want to compete, but I definitely have a competitive streak. I want to be number 1 in all things.
Yes.
So that's it. It causes anxiety for me.
I get it.
Like seriously, competition causes anxiety. I don't want to be the person to let my team members down, and you'll see that in episodes. I bawled my eyes out because I didn't want to let them down. But
anxiety is not a fun thing, and it's one of those things where, and you're not alone in that side. Like I'm the kind of mentality where I can give you a recent example. Behind me in the back there, you can't see it very well, but right there, and where I'm pointing, is a popcorn bucket which is by the time this airs will be well past the release of How to Train Your Dragon. And I'm standing.
That's actually this Friday.
Yeah, it's coming. It's this Friday from the day we're recording.
You can
months ago if you're
months ago now, but I'm sure that all of you have seen the live version. I don't get kind of geeked out about like stuff like stupid popcorn buckets and things like that, but like I'm the kind of person who has the anxiety level where like I'm standing in line for something like that where nobody's there for a movie that's not going to come out for another week, right? But I'm still in the back of my head going, all right, this line needs to move faster because I don't want they're going to run out before I get up there. Like that's the kind of there's no breaking that. Like I know that there's no demand there. Yeah.
And I get it because I definitely get competitive and stuff like that. Just in my nature, like even through like my work career, if I'm doing something, I'm gonna do it and be the best at it, at least as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had the benefit going into this where because of we were doing it as the family aspect of it. We wanted to bring Johnny. We were having a good time. I never considered being competitive in the challenge part of the show as even an option. So like I didn't go into it with that stress level because I didn't expect to make the top half of the pack basically from a performance aspect.
Yeah.
Let alone how it ended up playing out at the end. So it wasn't until like after the third challenge we're talking, I'm like, just doing some simple math. I'm like, we're in a pretty good position right now because the first challenge with the blindfold, we were in 6th, mid of the pack,
but everybody else was DQ'd.
But it was a cumulative time, so we knew that like just because you're in 6th, it wasn't like a points-based system, so we weren't far behind. We didn't know how big of a lead that we had picked up off of the tire change challenge, but I knew we made up a lot of ground there.
Yeah.
And then we went into that third challenge, which was the team-based challenge, and our team won that.
Our team was wonderful.
We had an amazing team that kicked ass on that. So I knew that we had 3 challenges in. I knew that we were in a really good position.
Yeah.
So now, like, you're kind of getting a little excited about it. You're like,
now you're getting in your head, and the anxiety is growing, and you're doing all of these things, and it just keeps growing, right? Ugh.
Okay. And so the third, what was the third challenge for you guys? Was that
the third
Grand
challenge
Canyon
was the
Scion.
was the camp games
Oh.
at Zion.
Okay.
So that was the ring toss, the cornhole, the ladder ball, and then the puzzle.
Okay. That's not too terribly, but I could see how the end of those games could then translate into the next day. Okay. That makes a whole lot more sense to me now. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the part I didn't understand about that piece of things, and we can talk about that in a second. We'll talk about the challenge piece of it, and I love the fact that we're teasing the hell out of that part of it, because then it just means people are going to keep listening to find out what the hell we're talking about, what happened on the way to the Grand Canyon.
Oh God, the Grand Canyon.
So,
best and worst.
The best and worst day of my life.
Best and the worst, but it was so beautiful.
It was,
even though you couldn't, even though none of us that got there when we got there, because I think I got there maybe
after us. I think.
Yeah, we saw you pull in.
Did you really? I thought people keep telling me that you guys got there after I did. Okay.
Heck of an expedition of your own that day.
Yeah.
All right. We don't want to talk. Do we have to have the conversation about how JD got lost on every single one of these interviews? Like, we don't need to talk about it.
Say it.
You know what?
We also got lost on all of these things.
Yeah,
so,
but
like,
you haven't
we
been
got turned
mapping for
around.
10 years for a website and then have like a reputation to keep up.
But we used the GPS version and still took wrong turns.
That's valid. I did too, but I disobeyed my own rules and I tried to follow Google Maps. And on my way out of the Grand Canyon the next morning, I identified the turn that we missed. And I said, if we just turned there, we would have been a dirt road all the way in. But instead, it was all just it was all BLM roads, but they were all just kind of rancher, rutted, dirty roads. And Adam was very concerned.
We know.
Adam was very concerned. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure everybody heard about it. That's all right.
No, I was saying from our own example, getting in there, that it wasn't the best.
Yeah, well, I'm not even talking about the last part there after you get past the ranch. I'm talking about just getting to the ranch. We were off course. So.
Oh yeah, getting to the ranch is where I had the hard part.
Really?
So if we it was after the ranch, it was good, but after the ranch is where
screw it. I'm going to slice and dice this episode anyway. Let's talk about that then. So what happened then? No, I don't care. I would much rather follow this conversation where it goes, because this is. You had a much rougher day into the Grand Canyon than I did.
I did. So we came through, we've been one of the last into every camp because we are taking it slow. We're taking pictures of everything. Right. I am here for the atmosphere. I've never been in this environment before. This is amazing. This much wilderness, this much wildlife. I've never been out west camping, and it was amazing. So we're taking it really slow. We get to, I guess you would call it the trailhead, kind of, right? The top there before the
descent. Once you come
start
through the wooded
descent.
area, then you start your descent. That takes you a while to get down into where we actually camped at the camp.
Mm-hmm.
No, before we got into the wooded area is where it threw me for a loop, and I had the worst day.
Okay, because you got claustrophobic.
Because so we're at the top at that bathroom, the only bathroom we've seen all day. Okay,
yeah, there was a little outhouse set up
there. It was very nice. It was maintained.
Okay.
And there was also
that's when we walked down to the petroglyphs.
The petroglyphs.
It was part of the national park there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we stopped at the top there. We took a hike with the family. We had, up until that point, it was amazing. And then as we get back in the car, I'm reading. Okay. And he had already told me, don't read it. And
it was on the notes for the directions for the event.
He had told me don't read it.
So all right, so we're ignoring that. Okay.
Do this. You need to do this. So me going, it's not that bad. We've had nothing that has scared me really, except for driving blindfolded up until this point. So nothing else has scared me.
Yeah.
And I'm not new at off-roading.
Right.
And I'm not new at anything we've done up until this point. And it was awesome. But I am new to these trees that we have zero cell service. and these pine trees that I can't hug around them. You don't get that very often in the area we're at, and let alone get a forest of that. So we are winding through, and it wasn't scary. However, it was definitely very dense trees, and you couldn't see 20 yards from the trail we were on. In some scenarios, you couldn't see 20 yards. And I read what I read, thinking that this is ahead of us. So thinking the worst is yet to come.
Right.
Okay. And what I'm reading is it is a long downhill descent. Put your vehicle, your rig in, use brake.
Yeah, use low range,
engine
use
braking.
engine braking so you don't overheat your brakes to control your speed.
Well, it doesn't say that. It says let the engine brake. And I say to him, why? And he says, oh, because if you ride your brakes the whole way down, they'll just stop working.
I guess I could have phrased a little bit differently. I said you could overheat your brakes and they could fail.
I don't think that he said could.
No,
even if he did.
I feel like that's exactly what he said, Susan, because I feel like that came from a place where you're like, this stuck. He wrote that in my brain at that moment.
He wrote that in my brain.
Yep.
And so I'm like, oh, F my life. We can't brake going down this hill.
Right.
Oh, okay. So there I have that in my head. And then I get to thinking, we did take, there's a V in there, and the instructions weren't overly clear, and we didn't know if you go down or if you go up, but it does say this is a downhill descent. So we took the lower part of that, and it was wrong. We only went a couple of yards, maybe a couple of 100 yards, not anything worth being concerned about, less than a city block.
Right.
But turning around was a pain because of how densely packed these trees are. So then I jokingly say to him, if we break down out here, this is where the car dies. We will have to hike out of here because there's no way they're going to tow us out of here. There's no way we're getting out of here. And then that sound loop is going through my head.
Mm-hmm.
So our brakes may give out. It's going through my head that if we break down out here, we just die out here because we're thousands of miles into the wilderness.
Yep.
I haven't had cell service in over 48 hours. So I have not talked to my 17 or 15-year-old except for text messages. I did know they were okay.
Okay.
And I used the satellite for the text messages, but that's all I got. I hadn't heard their voices.
Right.
And a 17-year-old will say, I am okay, Mom, while throwing a rager at your house. Not that our 17-year-old would do this.
I don't know what you're talking about, Susan. A 17-year-old would never do. Oh, wait, I'm not explaining that to my parents.
Never do this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I have all of these things that have already, my anxiety's pretty high because I haven't talked to them in a while. Anywhere that we wheel, we really have cell service. There's never a point where I've gone.
Intermittently. If you climb the hill, you get to the top
you
and then
get
you get all your messages.
service at some point.
Right.
I've never been somewhere where my phone's been in SOS mode, and then to message someone, it says you have to use satellite. And I'm like, I am not prepared. I was not prepared for this. You're talking about someone who is definitely addicted to technology that, this is my life. All of it is my life.
Yeah.
Not a good moment.
Okay.
So I have those three things going on in my brain. And then we have people behind us. And I start to feel really weird. So a feeling that I've never had before. I've had panic attacks. I have had one where I think I've blacked out, and it was work and emotion related. I had just became a people leader and had to let someone go for the first time. And it was really hard for me. And I'm fairly certain that I blacked out after having that conversation with that individual. It was just very emotionally charged, but I've never had another panic attack to that extent.
Right.
So we're driving and I'm like, my fingers are numb. My fingers are numb. And then I'm like, my feet are numb. My feet are going numb. My fingers are numb. And my anxiety level just keeps going and going and going.
Right.
40 minutes after my fingers and my feet started going numb, I say to him, I am not doing well. We need to pull over. I am not doing well. So I take some rescue meds and they do not help.
Yeah.
We sit on the side. We talk to all the chase cars. We let people pass us because there were people behind us. And I'm like, Nathan, I don't think I can do this. And all I kept thinking was this blurb in the instructions that wasn't written for our rig, but it does say you'll be on the edge of cliffs. It says,
It says we'll rely on your driving skill to get you through this
to
section
get
or
you
something along
through
those
this
lines.
section. And I was just thinking that is still yet to come. That is still, the scary part is still yet to come. Meanwhile, we're in the scary part. We are in the part that you're on the edge of cliffs and you're, I didn't know that.
Right.
I just knew there's still more. And doing the math on how much longer and scrolling out on the map, I said, cut the cameras. I am done. I'm losing it. I said, we are done. I have to get myself together because mentally I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never in a million years would you have said, you're going to come on this show and you're going to have a panic attack that will last about 4 hours and you will pass out twice.
Yeah. That's.
And I never, So
Mm.
after we pull over, the crew was absolutely amazing. I made a little self video, so y'all will see that. It was after I had been bawling my eyes out. I sent him to talk to people. You could see the mascara. I put myself together real fast and I make a video. Johnny, there's a theory that goes around that autistic children are slightly telepathic. I don't know if I buy this theory, so don't come at me.
I do.
Just saying you do.
100% I do.
I'm just saying that there's people there that feel this way, and I have just started listening to all of that, and Johnny's losing his mind. This whole trip, he has not lost his mind until my panic attack.
Yeah.
He is upset. He is fussing. He is, get me out of this vehicle. He didn't do that at all. The whole
That was the only time
trip.
he did
That's
it.
the only time that he behaved what I would consider poorly. And it was because of my emotions. You can't tell me that he didn't know. And I did a pretty good job of holding it together and not going ballistic. But Nathan said at one point, he said, I've never hurt you, or I've never put you in danger before. I am driving. Just trust me. And I lost it. And I said, that is the logical answer. Yes, you are my husband. We have been together for 14 years. I am not worried about you hurting me or putting myself or my son in danger. I'm not worried about that. But anxiety is not logical.
Right.
Just like you knew that they weren't going to sell out of that bucket, but you had anxiety over it, thinking they were going to sell out of the freaking bucket. I knew he wasn't going to hurt me, but I had anxiety over it. And the people who say, you'll be all right.
It's just, yeah.
Thanks. Great. I can keep telling myself that too, but what's going through my head is the worst is yet to come. Has anyone ever died from a panic attack? There can be no helicopters landed here because we're in densely wooded areas. And
did someone
Bonnie
say that
and
to you?
Clyde. We're gonna. That's what my mind said.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, just making sure, because I was about to get on a plane to come and beat Nathan for you. I was gonna say,
No. He didn't say that.
Okay.
The only thing he said was, "Don't worry."
I was reassuring her that we were fine. We've done harder trails. We were safe. We were gonna get there.
And I other trucked up and down a wall and said, "That is not fair. That is not fair to say to someone who's in the midst of a panic attack." And he didn't say it intentionally to hurt me. He had the best of intentions. And he's been with me for years. So he knows, he's seen how I get when I have anxiety.
But has he ever seen you have a panic attack like that level?
I've never had a panic attack to that level. So
it's scary. She blacked out twice. So when we first stopped and we took a little bit of breather, we switched and had her drive. So hopefully that would kind of help.
And it did.
And it helped.
I regulated my heart rate and I felt okay. So then I was like, okay, let's switch back. Right. I feel okay. It wasn't gone.
Yeah. So we stopped. She got out. She needed some fresh air. And then she started feeling lightheaded. So I'm like, okay. So I helped her sit down on the shoulder of the trail there, kind of had some rocks built up. So I sat her down. I was like, take a breath. I'm going to walk back and talk to the crew to find out, like, for certain aspects of the show, they can't tell you certain things about, where you're at, where you're going, stuff like that. But I was basically telling them, like, hey, there's a chance that we might not be making it to camp. And if we do, it's not going to be anytime soon. Because like we said, the map still makes it look like there was a good ways to go as far as the trail. Right. I went up there, I talked to them, and it was only like a minute, maybe not even. I was like, hey, if you want to come down and talk to her, we'll see how she's feeling. By the time I got back down to the Jeep, she had blacked out and was slumped over on her side of the trail. So, now I'm worried because now it's really scary. So she comes back to, we talk, I said, hey, she's like, what happened? I'm like, you blacked out. So I'm like, just sit here, don't try to get up anything. So we talk for a little bit. She wants to try to get moving again, so help her back in. We actually had one of the chase vehicles got in front of us because we're like, hey, well, maybe because it's dark at this point, it's been well dark. So like, hey, well, if one of us goes in front of you, you could see the other vehicle, follow their taillights. It kind of gives you an idea of what's happening outside of the vehicle. So like, maybe that'll kind of help so she can kind of see what's going on in front of us.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I like that. So we did that, and we started off. It seemed like everything was good for a minute or two. And then she's like, I can't remember exactly what you said. I actually just heard the video the other day because I got the inside cab video. But she says something, and well, sorry, actually, I don't have the in-cab video because I'd killed the in-cab video a while back, but I was recording forward on the trail, so I don't have visual what happened, but I could hear the audio, and we're talking, and then she basically, for lack of a better term, convulsed twice and blacked out. So I stopped immediately, and I jumped out and ran around the hearse side. And she's like, what happened again? So that, I mean, super scary situation, obviously, for me. And like I said, we never had a scenario like that before.
No, I don't remember anything. I remember having to pee. He said, he put it nicer and said, we stopped to give her a little bit of time. I remember having to use the bathroom.
That's fair.
I remember getting lightheaded, and I remember you taking me to the side to sit down. And I do not remember the rest of the trail. I do not remember from me sitting on the side of the road until we arrived at camp. I do remember arriving at camp, seeing Glenn and Rich and being like, oh God, please tell me they're not going to come over and try to interview me. And he's telling me that no, they're absolutely not. So that was the next thought that I can remember.
Nice weight coming off.
Yeah, they came over. They were amazing. Glenn was probably one of my saviors that night.
So he stayed with you the whole time till we got you situated. And I set up the tent and everything like that, and was able to get everything ready for you and John to go to bed.
Yeah, and the two gentlemen, the EMTs, came over and they checked me out. They made sure I was good. They kept me talking. They let me hold Johnny. And I just, kind of calmed down there till I went to bed. But there were, another competitor came over and they helped talk me through it. They kept my attention. Glenn was there, kept my attention.
Yeah, they were talking to her. He helped me find a spot kind of up away from the rest of the camp. It was a nice flat spot, so I could get the Jeep parked. I can get the tent set up so her and Johnny could get some sleep.
Yeah.
And I remember during that conversation, I don't know if you remember this, but I was talking to him. I was like, all right, because at this point I can't really see the camp too well because it was dark. I go, we're not near, I knew the canyon rim was somewhere here. I said, we're not going to be close to the canyon. We're away from that, right? He said, no, you can't even see it from over here. And he's like, and as soon as he's like, you can't even see it from over here. She's inside the Jeep. She goes, I want to go see it in the morning. I'm like, we'll worry about it tomorrow. That's the least of our concerns right now. You can see the canyon.
I was so worried that they were going to send us home. I was so worried that our trip was done. I ruined this for him. They're going to send us home. My anxiety that is really well contained. It's been 10 years since I had a panic attack. I take my medicine. I'm a good girl. I don't have panic attacks. I have anxiety.
Yeah.
And I know it, but I know my triggers and I know how to breathe and I know how, to avoid the panic attacks. And I know ways to get out of it. I know that singing will almost always change my heart rate, my breathing rate, because it does a lot with your diaphragm and it helps to calm you down. So I love music. We cranked music. Thank you, Pentatonics, for being the only song I have downloaded to my phone because our Christmas tree farm is in the middle of BFE and we don't have cell service, so I had to download it. It's the only album that I have on my phone. Christmas Pentatonics.
We were singing Christmas tunes driving down the rim to the canyon,
and we were belting it and loving it. But it really helps. So for anybody out there that is has anxiety issues. It's something that helps for me. It's not a one size helps all, but it does expand your rib cage. It does expand the breaths that you're taking, and it also helps to regulate them. So in the midst of a panic attack, it can help calm you down. And I know that. And I've known that for years, so I do it all the time.
Well, and that's awesome. And first of all, thank you for talking about it. And I think there's so many people who won't talk about it. I mean, and I don't really get a chance to talk about it on the show. I think I've talked about it here and there, but I don't really talk about it. But anxiety is something I had my first panic attack when I was, and I had no idea what it was. I thought I was dying. And luckily I had family around me, and my mom's like, no, you're not dying. You're just having a panic attack. Take this half a pill and sit over here and just breathe for a minute. And that was the first time you learn about it. And that was in 1998. And at this point now, we have a lot of refined views on mental health and a lot of refined views on things like anxiety, but we don't on a lot of levels. It's one of those things where a lot of people who are willing to talk about it, to the people who aren't willing to talk about it, the people who aren't willing to talk about it or really listen about it are surprised to find out, there's no logic to it. And that's not to say you weren't trying to find out about it, Nathan. I have no doubt that you were, but you also didn't need to, right? Like she hadn't had a situation like that. You didn't really have a situation where you needed to learn how to react.
In my mind, I'm like, I'll just explain to her that everything's good, and that's gonna,
He definitely got the "you mother, you come at me with logic? How dare you?"
You don't know when you're with somebody until you don't know until you've experienced that with anybody else, whether it's your partner or you just somebody that you see. It's like seeing a seizure for the first time. You don't necessarily know how to react to it. The thing that my general recommendation to you out there in Radio Land, if you're listening, is that if you know somebody you see somebody who you suspect is having a panic attack, the last thing to do is to say to them, you have no reason to be panicking, or anything to that effect, because it's not a logical question. It's a runaway chemical reaction that started in that person's brain. And there are things like Susan was talking about. There are things that can help stop that, or at least bring down a little bit, like breathing and singing and all those kinds of things that can kind of help you work through some of that anxiety. Sometimes you got to hit the rescue meds to try to get yourself going. And sometimes it can get really, really bad and you black out. And that's the extreme angle of it, right? But it's there. And what we do, I get the feeling that there's more anxiety in a sport than we talk about, right? I know I get it. I know I get it just from being out. Like, is that my tire? Is that my tire leaking? Or is I'm out here by myself? Like, is that going to be a problem later? Or did I bring enough fuel for the day? Like, there's this whole litany of things that you can go through for everything. And you are much more on your own out there than you are on the highway or even on a side road. And so I'm just thankful for you for bringing it up and then sticking with talking with it here and then on the show itself, because it's important that I think people hear that. But if you're out there listening, like, definitely just understand that the last thing you should do is just don't say that you shouldn't be panicking. Just be there for that person, ask if there's anything you can do, and hold their head if they pass out.
I think that's key, because then you're not just dealing with someone who's in the middle of an anxiety or a panic attack. You're dealing with an angry person who's in the middle of anxiety and a panic attack, because we know it's not logical.
Right.
We know it's, that we should be able to snap out of it. And some people will hate themselves for that, for not being able to. And that's something that I struggled. Yeah. I struggled with it because I said, oh my God, I got him kicked out.
Yeah.
I got him kicked out. He can't do it anymore. Why am I like this? Why am I ruining this amazing experience for my family? They're going to make us leave. That is where my mind went. It's not logical. That's not something that they would do unless I was continued at a risk to myself. If my health wasn't good, like, there's reasons that they would have said, you can't continue. Right. But once I came out of the panic attack, I was fine. And
you were standing on the rim of the canyon the next morning.
Yeah. And I wanted to be there. It's not that I didn't want to be there. It was just not logical. and I let my mind become my worst enemy. And once it started, I couldn't stop it. If me talking about it causes anyone to be comfortable to talk about it, or even to acknowledge that they're not alone, then I think that it's worth it. And sharing it, because I was really on the fence of, do I want this to be on TV? I asked them to turn off the cameras multiple times. I got a little snappy with someone who I thought was videotaping, and they weren't, but like, in the moment, you don't know if you want to talk about it, because you don't know what the extent is. But I woke up the next day like, abso-freaking-lutely, let's talk about this. Let's share my experience, because there's too many people who won't talk about it and are quiet about it. But this affects more people.
Yeah. There's like, here's the thing. There's a
lot.
reason why those medications are so highly prescribed these days. It's not because the condition doesn't exist. We can talk about whether or not there's an oversubscription problem, but that's in general, though, there's a reason why those pills exist, and there's a reason why those things exist for people. There's a reason why there are words like panic disorders and things like that to go along with situations like that, because it's something that exists whether or not people talk about it or not. It's just like autism. It's something that exists whether you want to talk about it or not. And so I'm thankful that you wanted to talk about it, and I'm thankful that you wanted to talk about it on the show. And it was impressive to hear, because since I got there after you guys, I just kind of heard about it, and then you guys had already kind of gone to bed, and I don't think I got a chance to see you until the next day. And I was running around with my camera in the morning, just kind of checking on people. And I rolled up on Nathan, and I turned the camera off. And then he's just like, "Yeah, we don't care about talking about it." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, awesome. Then let's talk about it." And then
we talked about it that next morning, and like Susan said, she decided, like, as long as if it positively helps one person to realize they could have the conversation, or they're not alone, any of those aspects, then it's absolutely worth having that discussion. And we kind of talked about it in further interviews, whether it be autism, anxiety, any other plethora of things that you want to align with that. We only really have the limitations that we allow to be imposed on ourselves. So, and everyone's free to make that decision. That everything doesn't work for everybody, but she could have decided that we were done and missed out on driving in Sand Hollow that she loved if we had called it a day after, that night going to the canyon, stuff like that. But, she didn't let that be a limitation. Now, was it a very scary experience? Absolutely. But it wasn't a limitation. We didn't let Johnny's transitional issues sometimes, where he doesn't want to get in and out of the vehicle multiple times, stuff like that. That's what we thought was going to be the biggest trigger for him, as far as him getting frustrated. We decided, when we talked at the beginning, we didn't want that to be a limitation that missed out on an amazing opportunity, and he had a great time for it. So, and everyone has to make that decision for their own, whether it works for them or not. And it might be, going overlanding through the desert. It might be
taking them to Walmart,
going to Walmart, going fishing, going to a movie, whatever it may be. Everyone has to make that decision that works for them. But, you don't have to let it limit you if you don't want to.
But I'm going to cut to that interview right now where we're all talking to you at the edge of the Grand Canyon in the morning after that about this subject.
So the last 40-ish miles of the day were not friendly for me and my mental health. So I guess it kind of started in the morning with the challenge. So my anxiety was up a little bit, but nothing I couldn't control. And then throughout the day, I have had zero cell service. So reaching back home, touching in with my older two kids. We did get a couple of text messages through from them, so we knew they were good, but not being able to talk to them is rough. And then we hit the parts that in these instructions, it gives you the paragraph about you have to have the skills and the to get through here. And I thought that we were earlier than that in the travels. So we're going through the forest. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I'm sure someone will correct me, but it's wall to wall trees, and you can't see further than 30 feet off of the trail, and you can't go anywhere because there's trees on each side. So you have the one trail that you are on, and that's all you have. So we were winding through that. It was very bumpy, kind of similar to things that we're used to back home. So that wasn't a big cause of anxiety, but there were some issues where I couldn't see past the front end while he's driving, and that always causes me some anxiety. And then I'm thinking, we're not even on the hard part yet. So it was a perfect storm, and I had a bit of a panic attack and took some rescue meds, and they worked for a little bit, but they didn't work for long. So I actually had like a full-blown panic, anxiety attack, not sure what you want to call it. Fingers went numb, feet went numb. I had like the tunnel vision and ended up blacking out twice.
Scary.
It was very scary. I've never blacked out in my life before, and I've struggled with mental health since I was a teenager with anxiety, and I've only ever had one other true panic attack. And I'm not sure the exact cause. I think it was just kind of the perfect storm. So yeah, we rolled into camp really late because of it, but everyone was amazing. The crew,
Absolutely.
our teammates, our fellow competitors, they're just lovely humans and compassionate and understanding. And mental health is really important to talk about. So we need to ensure that we do talk about it and we get it out there, and don't be ashamed of it because it affects more people than you know.
And the fact that you get to stand here and talk about this with this view.
Yeah.
This is what you guys wake up to. You made it.
Breathtaking. I didn't die during my panic attack. I do recall saying at one point, do panic attacks kill people? And they're like, they don't. However, you need to get your breathing under control. You need to know where you're at. And it was hard.
You don't have to let it limit you if you don't want to.
But I'm going to cut to that interview right now where we're all talking to you at the edge of that Grand Canyon and the morning after that about this subject. And I think it's an amazing juxtaposition, and it's awesome to have. And I think, if there's two things here for both the panic thing and for the autism piece of things, I think that you guys have chosen a forum in which your message gets an outsized impact. Kind of those demographic things that we were talking about before. This is a moment where both of these situations and both of those moments are opportunities for you to reach, I'm going to say it, guys that don't want to talk about this stuff, guys that have anxiety on the trail, and then in worst case scenario, guys that don't do stuff on the trail because of, and I use this being fully self-aware, but irrational, like anxiety, right? And having zero ability to kind of try to regulate a little bit of that, so you can enjoy those adrenaline moments without having it take over. I think there's a lot of guys out there that just they've been conditioned to not talk about this stuff, and this is you guys talking about it. It makes it perfect in this particular form.
And we're here to talk about it.
All right.
That's the thing. We're friendly.
We're friendly.
As you
we're
can
friendly
tell,
off-roaders and weirdos.
Nathan calls in the podcast all the time.
I know. He's been cheating on us since the get. It's okay. I'm fine with it. He's been calling in other shows.
It's something. Yeah, he does call in other shows too. But we're very social people. And if there's anyone out there that's struggling with this, that wants to talk about it, that's, we're here to talk about it because we live it. We don't want anyone to, there's people who won't take their children off-roading because maybe they're autistic, or maybe they'll get bored, or maybe they'll act like a child and embarrass me. Trust me, there's nothing your child can do that ours hasn't. There's nothing that your child can do that ours hasn't. And this community has accepted it. And embraced it and helped us through that. And don't let it limit you, because there's people with autistic children that won't take them to the movies, that won't take them to a playground because they don't play well with others, and they truly don't. We went to a playground this weekend, and there was another maybe 3-year-old girl who wanted to play with Johnny, and I said to her. She asked if she could play with him, and I said, absolutely. But I want you to understand about Johnny is that he may not look at you, and he wants to play beside you. Right? He doesn't want you to take the things out of his hands, and he'll play beside you. So they spent an hour throwing sticks down a slide.
Mm-hmm.
That's all these two children wanted to do, and they were completely happy parallel playing and level setting that. So if you don't be afraid to take your kids out in public, and don't let the stigma that comes with mental health, autism, any of that hold you back from doing something you truly want to do.
Seriously.
Because the only limits you have are the ones you place upon yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and I think the one.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the one thing that individuals like Johnny have earlier on from a benefit that it took me a long time to realize in life is with his personality and his social, one of the things they say with autism is the lack of social cues and stuff. He's not worried about anybody else. He's going to do his own thing every time. He doesn't care if you're there, what your thoughts are. It took me a long time in life to realize, to put it bluntly, I don't give a shit what other people think about me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless. If you like me, great. We could sit down on a podcast and talk about shared interests all day and have a good time. If you don't like me, good. You can go on with your life and I'll go on with mine. I don't need to talk to that individual. Like, he has that benefit already that he's not worried about what other people think of him when he's out there doing that. And I'm not really either.
He beat me by 44
adults
years.
Can think whatever
I'm really upset about that.
And adults can think whatever they want. That's fine. I don't care. Where it's a little bit harder, and I feel a little bit bad sometimes, like Susan mentioned, other little kids, because little kids are usually very excited to play. They think another kid. So sometimes we go off road and someone else might bring their kid, and I could see them get out and like come running over, and they'll say hi. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. And we talk. I go, just let you know, Johnny, you can hang out. We'll have a good time. You could play with with him, parallel play, but he's not really going to interact. That's not how he plays. So like, I just like to kind of level set so they understand, because at that age, they don't understand. Every kid they run into wants to play. Kids love to play. So like, I feel bad is not the best way to say it, but like, try to help them understand and level set with them, because they're a kid. They don't understand autism and the social aspect of it like an adult.
No, I think we should probably spend time level setting with adults sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And we've had to do that in our lives as well, going out to eat. In my day, we just would have smacked that kid's ass. Oh, okay,
good Lord,
well.
He'll just laugh at you if you do
that.
that.
No kidding, right?
People, that's something someone has honestly said to me.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that. And I don't just mean for kids either. I mean for adults. Like, I think we have to, it's having these conversations, right? Because people don't think about this stuff when they're out there, and they don't, whether it's kids or older people with mental health issues, they don't. This is a different discussion for a different day about the level of compassion for those things. And on one hand, I think it's gotten a lot better. And on the other hand, I think there's parts of it that gotten worse. We're getting there. We're getting there as a whole.
We're getting better.
Yeah. So,
we're getting better as a society, as humans, as understanding and accepting. We're getting better.
Yeah, we're getting better. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Well, let's shift. Let's shift, because we're getting long on the tooth for this discussion, which I'm totally fine with. But I know that
you got a lot of editing.
I don't. Most of this is gold. I just have to move things around. That's all. The question is whether or not Susan's going to pass out from tiredness soon. So we're all over the place on this conversation, which is 100% fine. And Nathan will tell you this is exactly how our show usually goes, which is awesome. I honestly think it's part of our appeal. We're at the Grand Canyon though, and I've shared this with a couple people. I rolled into camp, obviously, apparently after you guys, but I rolled into camp kind of after dark, so I couldn't see the canyon, and I could kind of see it because of the moon, but I couldn't really see it. And man, when I woke up the next day, that was one of those things that was just kind of like, it takes your breath away at some level. And some people, I think, could be overwhelmed by it just because of what the grandness of it. Because I mean, they call it the Grand Canyon for a reason. But you get up and I open the door in the camper, and there's just the Colorado River, and the sun is out. It was just amazing. And I've asked this question before, but was that a moment, or were there any other moments along the trail that you were just kind of like, this is why I'm out here. This is why we're doing this?
That was absolutely the moment. Was in the morning we walked over to see it, which was amazing. But then later when they lined up all the Jeeps on the side, or all the vehicles, I should say, on the side, I sat on the tailgate and just took
You can
pictures.
look right down into the canyon of the Colorado River right there.
And Johnny had already had enough people, so he was very safely tucked inside the vehicle in his car seat, 5-point harness. So I had zero fear that the boy was gonna wander away. I gave everyone that I came across strict instructions, said if you see him in the Grand Canyon anywhere at this campsite without myself or Nathan,
not in the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Please tackle him. Please tackle him. Like, just pick him up. He may not like it, but it's unsafe for him just to be out here. So I shared that with everybody. So that was a fear of mine, not a fear that I didn't think it was really truly going to happen, because we don't let him out of our sights, but plan for the worst thing that could possibly happen and have a bunch of almost strangers, help you parent. And they did. Not that we had to come to it, but they all willingly said that they would snag him if they saw him. We did interviews and they helped entertain him while we did them. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that morning walking over there was just like awe-inspiring.
It's only mildly different than the forest by you, right, Nathan?
So different than the forest.
Change of pace from the mud and rocks we're used to out here.
Different, yeah. And the day before, we woke up in Zion, and I thought that was awesome. Yeah. I didn't know.
Or that first day going in the Pine Valley, the Red Rock Arch there.
Oh, the arch! I loved it. Yeah, there was so many amazing things that we saw, and it was just like, day one was cool. And on day one, I was like, it's not going to get better than this. Day two was cool. And I'm like, it's not going to get better than this. Day three was, well, holy crap, it's not going to get better than this. Like, it just kept going. Ended in Sand Hollow, which I am like looking at properties to move out there. So truly, in my opinion, it really got better every single day to the very end.
That's one of the funniest.
And then it ended in the McDonald's drive-thru.
It ended in a McDonald's drive-thru, which Johnny said it can't get any better.
Oh
than
my
this.
God! I legitimately hope that made the show. I hope that it makes the fun. It better make it.
I just saw the interior footage of that and him just housing that cheeseburger in the back seat. He was so happy.
Yeah, it has to make the end cut because he has ketchup and he's eating it in our final interview.
Oh.
So it has to be in there. But he has ketchup all over his face. His cheeseburger is almost gone.
I guarantee you.
It was the best
to
thing.
Tell you what, I will tell you this: as the Trailhead, as a show, we will play it in its entirety at the end of this episode. You send me that video, and that will just. I usually leave the end of the episode for like one of those kinds of moments, and I'm just going to play that uncut and just right there for everybody at the end. Yep. Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, I think Mom might have also had a cheeseburger, so let's hope that the video is okay.
We can just assume that's his noises too. I assume that most of the cameras. Yeah, I'll zoom the camera in.
Boy,
yeah, I'm friendly here. This is a friendly show. I'm not. I'm not trying to get you up. All right, so Zion was awesome. Obviously, the Grand Canyon was better. And then, I think, Nathan, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but I think the person that may have gotten the most out of the adventure, despite everything that we've just spent all this time talking about, may have been Susan.
Absolutely.
Because
I was the winner.
You're the winner.
I was the winner, honestly.
We got to Sand Hollow, and we start the next day. We start talking about Sand Hollow, and look who's just wants to crawl Red Rock all the time now.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming back in October, which we weren't planning on.
He was like, "We're never going," and I was like, "We're freaking going." I am like, "We need to go." He's like, "I don't want to drive the whole way out there and back." I was like, "We'll rent a vehicle. We're
I know
going."
a company will get. I got you taken care of. We'll get you taken care of.
we want to go. Definitely. We've already put the PTO in at work.
That was the bad news I had to break to my boss. That's our busy season where we black it out. We don't let people take off that.
Oh.
So I was like,
I was going without them.
I was like, I got some bad news for you.
Damn.
I was like, you made me go on this. I'm making you go on that.
There's a number of people that
You'll
will
get
let you
sick.
drive their Jeeps here. Yeah, you'd be fine, Susan. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good because you guys are, I think, my 6th interview. So you mark my halfway point through the group. If everybody's going to be there, I am going to arrange some sort of a reunion show on the mountain at Trail Hero.
Nice.
And with a Starlink, if there's one or two that can't come, I might be able to get them in like via remote. So we'll see how that goes. But there's this place on, I think it's West Rim or East Rim, and I'm just like, oh, that'd be so epic for just a great show. So we'll see how that goes. I got to talk to Rich. We'll see how that plays out.
We would love it.
Good deal. All right. If not, we're going to do a Zoom meeting because I can only fit 10 people in a Riverside room, but we're going to do a Zoom meeting, and then we're going to do it after the show airs because I definitely want to get all the dirt from you guys. Like, what did the show not show versus what actually happened? Because I gotta.
That's when I become a meme. That was my fear going into this.
We're not popular enough as a show. You're not going to become a meme off this show. No. I might get a funny moment, but it's not going to be a meme. You'll be fine. And nothing worse than anything.
Because everybody asked me what I'm excited about, what I'm scared about going up to it. I was like, I'm going to say or do something that is just not supposed to be aired. And it will be. And that's when I'll become a meme and I'll live forever in my
So
studio.
do you have anything that you said on the production side of the guys? Not because we're the media side.
There was one or two, but I'm like, I hope they don't put that on there.
When you were reading all the graffiti through the wall.
Oh, yeah. So through the wash, I was reading the graffiti off, and there's definitely... I forgot we were recording.
Oh, my.
So they have the in-car footage of her.
Going, I love anal. So there you go. There's my meme.
Okay, now Nathan, I need 2 pieces of video, and I'm going to play them back to back. But because this is a family show, I'm going to have to bleep all of it, and I may just do unnecessary ones just for the fun of it. Yep.
And then there's a picture of it, so you could just show the picture of what I said.
Yeah, because I will have the exterior shot as well as the internal shot.
Because I was like, oh, this person was here, and this person was here, and that, and this, and then, gotta love that.
Look what Becky likes. Yeah, okay. Oh, boy.
And I was like, did you give that to them? And he's like, I gave them the whole thing.
And then I said, we're recording everything right now.
Here's the thing is there's part of me that understands from a production standpoint, when you're doing a show like this, the last thing you want is 8 hours of in-cab footage where most of it is nothing, right? But when you're off-roading in those moments, you can't recreate moments like that. And then there's also the piece of
you can't be like, hold on, let me start the video before something fun happens.
Yeah, let me start again, and then go ahead and say anal again, honey. You can't do that. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
While Johnny's in the back on.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
There's
right?
layers. There's layers to this whole thing. But that's the thing, isn't that some folks don't realize is that when you're filming a show like this kind of content, when those moments happen, one of the best ways to get those moments to happen is for people to forget that you're recording anything, because you forget the camera's there. You forget that it's recording because it's been recording for an hour and a half, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. That's just a little red light that's blinking at me. And next thing you know, you're just, oh, look at these little fun little graffiti things that I've seen over here. I will tell you this, Susan, unless Nathan gives me the footage, and you can fight about that with him later, it probably won't make the TV show. I don't think that's what Rich is trying to sell to. So I think you're good.
Thank you. I really hope that it doesn't.
All right.
There's another one in there. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely inappropriate. And I said it on an interview, and I was like, oh.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, Susan. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might get you reacting to me hanging a tire off the trail when you yelled that one.
Unsafe.
Unsafe.
A hawk flew by, so I'm trying to get her attention because she was trying to see all the wildlife. and it's like out to the left.
And
going
he's
past.
watching it.
So I'm like turned completely backwards, looking out the back of the Jeep. I'm like, look, it's a hawk. Meanwhile, I'm drifting to the left, and the tire goes off the trail, and she's like screaming. And it was just an even flattish trail. It wasn't like there was a ravine
doesn't
or
matter.
anything.
I dropped the big JC Nathaniel into that one. So yeah, if they put that out there, they'll get me in my true form.
That one has the
yelling
potential. That I'm going to give you that one. That one has the potential. But yes, I'm going to tell you that here yet another. There's all kinds of sage advice in this episode, guys. It's gold, Jerry. It's gold. So if you are, they teach you this when you ride a motorcycle. You turn the way you look, right? So if you start to look this way to look at the trail, you're like, oh, look at this pretty thing over there. Eventually, your wheel is over the edge.
It was fine. The trail was even on both sides. There's a little bit of a berm. That's all.
It's not about this time, Nathan.
Fine.
It's about Susan, here's the thing. I get where you're as I am both on the Nathan side of this and the Susan side of this, right? I'm here for both sides because I understand where Susan is coming from, but have also been where Nathan is at, right? Like I appreciate what Susan is. I appreciate what Susan is saying, but I have also
we've all been
right. I've also been yelled at for putting a tire way too close to the edge on Gemini bridges. So because you're like, oh, look at that, and you just you got to stop. Just pay attention. And unsafe is a good. That's probably one of the nicest things I've heard a co-driver or a passenger say to somebody who's drifting.
I've said that to him a few times
in life.
In life, unsafe.
And how long have you guys been together?
Like 14 years. By the time this airs.
13.
By the time this airs, 14 years. Okay. We're in our 14th
There you
year.
go. Don't I get that number wrong all the time, Susan. Don't feel bad. Like I forget it. I screwed up.
Well,
he knows.
I have a slight unfair advantage of remembering that because we met in 2012 on my birthday.
Oh, nice.
So he always remembers the anniversary.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah. We had been chatting back and forth for a while, and I actually ditched all my buddies at the bar and jumped on my Harley and rode up to see her.
And I got him lost.
No.
I told him to turn left when it was a right,
So that was the beginning of your map interest.
It was, yeah.
That's fantastic. All right. So you love Sand Hollow. Did you drive all of the Sand Hollow Trail parts?
You did. She drove most of it. She did basically from the start of when you got into Sand Hollow to where we had the crossover, that roadway. Because there's part you come in initial in Sand Hollow, and then we switched there because there was kind of some rock ledges to go down before you got to the pavement crossing. So I drove the rock ledge part, and then we actually took the detour at the pavement to go get gas and then come back.
So you kind of took Limestone Canyons. You got not just like Sand Hollow, but you got a bit of a rock crawly piece of it. That's some of.
Oh, I loved it.
Okay.
I want to do more.
Okay. All right. That's
the best quote or the best advice came from the next morning where they're like, you literally are in Walt Disney World's parking lot to Walt Disney World. And I definitely get that. The only thing I did not like about Sand Hollow is that night
cooking food with the sand blowing into it.
My burger gritty. And I was like, I'd rather just not eat. This is nasty.
That's fair. That is fair.
I'll go hungry.
Let me see here if I've got it readily available. Oh, I do have it readily available. This is all of the Sand Hollow that came home with me. No, that's not even what was in the Jeep. This was just in the trailer. This is because I had to sweep it out for the poor fellow that rented it to me, who again, when I got home was still surprised. He was still happy to see me. I'm surprised. But yeah, it was a lot of sand. And
it really
only
was.
maybe this.
Oh, I could tell you got it. It's probably at least 3/4.
Oh, at least.
And we probably got that much out of Johnny's car seat.
And only this much of it was in my burger and my food that I ate that night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right?
But
awful. Went to bed a little hungry.
That's fair.
No, he ate.
And I hate to tell you this, it doesn't get any better. There's a reason why it's called Hurricane.
Yeah, I will be eating indoors from now on, though.
It is a lot easier to do that at Trail Hero. Yeah, you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. We'll turn you on all the cool places.
Take it
Yep.
inside. We need it.
There's plenty of places to do that inside. Plus, I think Rich has got lots of plans off the mountain for food this year, which will be fantastic. All right. And then Sand Hollow was it. Like the next day was us kind of heading back. You guys, that was the last day of competition piece. So we glazed over the tire inflation challenge at at the Grand Canyon.
We didn't talk about that one. The MORRFlate.
Let's do that real fast because I don't want to keep you guys up too late. But
you're okay.
We had the Grand Canyon. We were doing, you guys, we did the MORRFlate challenge, which we talked about MORRFlate a bit at the beginning, and I talked about Jimmy and Tyler. What's up, guys? Come on the show. Like I've been on yours. Come on over.
I can be a spokesperson for you.
See, there you go. You got the advertising going. So, and we've talked about this in a couple of the other episodes that we've got in the can on this one. And essentially, the original idea was from Rich was to, and let me tell you guys real fast. Rich was so excited about this idea, like he would giggle on production calls about it. He really
is this the nighttime sound?
Oh, he wanted to break everybody's valve stems. Oh my God, he wanted to do it so bad.
Oh, that was the game. I thought it was the zip ties.
Oh, that was only part of it. That was secondary to the valve stem thing. Like he just wanted to be out there in the middle of the night, like just breaking valve stems left and right, and just with like he was ready to go full military gear on it, like night vision.
Well, thank you, Rich, for not doing it because we couldn't have fixed that.
That's the one thing I didn't bring was Colby valves. I almost got them. I had valve cores. I could have replaced the missing valve stem core, but I didn't have the straight up Colby valve to replace the entire stem.
And what happened to SRG is essentially what he did not want to have happen and what they ended up having decisions about at the last minute. And part of that was because, you know, some of us got up at the crack of dawn and some people slept in a little bit, and it didn't work out pretty well. And then I think there was also part of it, like nobody really thought about the fact that when you deflate somebody's tire that fast, they could wake up. Like there's a real good chance if all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't understand why I'm at an angle.
Well, I would have woke up just probably from the sound of it.
Yeah, he's a very light sleeper.
Anyway,
Johnny wakes up at 4:30, like 4:30 to 5 a.m. every day.
Well, and you guys were on East Coast time already,
Would have gotten up and fixed it, and just been because we were parked so far away because of my mental health issue. We weren't with the rest of the group, and there was a rumor that after we didn't know beforehand, so I'm not, but afterwards they were like, well, they wanted to zip tie all of your windows and your doors shut, and I was like, literally every night we slept with everything zip tied shut. Johnny knows how to do zippers. How is that little fool not gonna like just unzip and leave us in the middle of the night while I'm passed out? I can sleep through anything.
My God.
So that was a fear. So we had them all zip tied. They would have came across and be like, what are these freaks doing? Like,
what are these weirdos up to?
They don't trust us.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I just realized I returned the tent. I don't think I took the
Oh,
boy.
No. So everything except the main door is zip tied shut. You gotta let them know.
I'll text Ben and let them know. Like, hey,
just so you know, this wasn't anything weird after we got back. It's just...
But it was. To keep the toddler
child. The safety.
But yeah, no, he had high intentions for like... It was during one of the conversations I actually looked up the fact that we could rent night vision cameras, and he apparently had them on his doorstep. Like, I don't know if they got there late or whatever, but he just didn't use them. So, it didn't. It would have been amazing.
Imagine the video of him going around with these.
Oh my God! Yeah, are you kidding me? Him talking about it, he was giggling so hard about it, was making me laugh.
The amount of times I got up. They might have came around the side and I'd just been standing.
Yeah.
That would be fear for them.
Just Nathan, what? What are you doing? That's glorious.
Yeah, he definitely was Papa Bear that night, checking on me and Johnny and making sure that I was okay. And that was the night after my rough.
And then their answer to that is to line up 12 vehicles on the edge of the Grand Canyon and ask you guys to, first they ask you to go on a hike, which I'm sorry, I'm sure a lot of people knew. I knew it was BS, but I'm sure a lot of all of you knew it was BS.
Oh, I told her. I said,
He's like, they're sabotaging us right now
Dude.
as we're walking away. He's like, they're sabotaging us. They're getting us away from our rigs for some
There you
reason.
And I need to be real clear here for just a moment, because you mentioned something earlier, just a second ago, Susan, that I forgot to mention earlier. I want to be real clear before we get into the rest of this, because we're as we get into we're kind of winding down into the last piece of this here. At no point, despite Nathan's about like that was coming, and I looked at something like, I said nothing. I was like, I didn't say anything. I knew, but I didn't say anything was coming. But yeah,
no, I've watched some reality TV shows and enough off-road stuff to know that, hey, if I was going to build some challenges around what everyone's going to have, obviously changing a tire would be one.
I think that was
And
pretty
it was
low
kind
hanging
of
fruit.
you remember who called it out when we were there? We were sitting around hanging out the one time, and I don't remember who said it, but someone's like, all the challenges are, aside from the games ones, all like the vehicle challenges for the most part were based around stuff that you had to have during tech. Like when
So that we were listing off
so
what
like
you had
when
to
they
have
did your
for
tech inspection, you had to have your tire change stuff. You had to have your air inflation systems. So like the one thing I did initially when we did tech, they said, okay, where's this? Where's that? And one of the things on the list was recovery gear. And I had everything nicely organized in one of my pack out sets. And
like the guy organized.
And the guy from tech is like, oh, well, you might want it to have you want to be more accessible, because that stuff I figured I wasn't worried about needing recovery gear, knowing like the ratings of the trails that they were projecting for us, and my vehicle setup and stuff like that. So it got buried farther up in the bed because I figured it was less of a concern. Well, after they said that, I left the everything where it was, but I pulled out one strap and I kept it loose in the back of the bed. And I grabbed 4 of my soft shackles, and I actually had them hanging on the outside of the bed rack next to the tent.
Nice.
So I could have grabbed all that stuff really accessible. And I didn't even think about it from a challenge perspective in the very beginning, because he's just like, you might want it more accessible. I'm like, okay, well, that's easy enough to do. But then later on, I'm like, I was fully expecting some type of recovery gear challenge after we were about midway through. I'm like, okay, well, that stuff, I'm ready to go. I can grab that stuff in seconds.
So then I'm sitting there going, how do I use a soft shackle?
We're having side
Where is this? Like, as we're driving, I'm like, how do I use your winch? Like, is there a remote control? Because I think there is one. And like, I'm like, what do I do?
You're getting
I'm learning a lot about it, because I'm like,
oh my God.
It's going to be me having to get us out of somewhere.
Because we figured we did really well teamwork wise on that tire change challenge. So like, to get back to the air inflation one, when we caught back, I'm like, I thought it was like a different sabotage for everybody, because some vehicles clearly had flat tires. With the Kenda Cleavers, mine weren't really showing it.
It didn't show
the sidewall was so strong on that, even dropping them down to 5 PSI.
They were awesome.
I could have just kept going probably at 5 PSI, even with the heavy setup I had. So like,
think about that. Yeah.
So, but we're sitting there and they mentioned it's air. So we're sitting there talking. I'm like, okay, so we had a plan. Like, she was going to hit the hood, get the hood open, so we could hook up the
reverse. You're going way too fast. We didn't talk about coming in, and we're like the introduction to that, and my other panic. We almost didn't do it.
Did you have another one that morning?
Well, I was going to get there. Well, I was going to get
almost.
there. Yeah, so when we realized it was a tire challenge, we started making a plan like we did for the tire change, where we each kind of did everything simultaneously.
Right.
So initially, I'm like, you hit the hood, get the hood up, and get all the valve stem caps off. While you're doing that,
I can take off valve stem caps.
I'll get the inflation gear out of the bed while you're doing that, and then you could run hoses while I get the compressor onto the battery. Basically, like we did with the tire change, just tag team everything. And then that's when they throw the curveball that says, hey, the main driver has to stay like 5 feet away from the vehicle. It's all co-driver.
And I'm like,
that threw the whole plan out the window. And she's like, we're not doing it. I'm done.
And Rich said he just looked at my face when he said that. And I'm like, and
I told her, I said, that's fine. I said, if you don't want to do it, we'll take the DNF on it. It is what it is. And
I went up to Rich and I said, what's our time if we don't do it? if we don't, because everything is timed. And he is like, well, it depends upon the longest time, and then we'll add some time to it, like whoever does, if we sit it out. Because he did say you could sit out any that you're uncomfortable with. And I was like, I don't know that I'm comfortable with this coming off of last night. And just like the amount, like I could feel my heart rate raise when he said that. Like it was a physical response where I'm like, are you kidding me? After my panic attacks last night, I still don't feel 100%. Like, that's still living. It's very fresh. It's in the back of my mind. And I'm like, now I have to do this. And I already knew that we were in good standing. So after the night before with the teams challenge, and we've done decent. We won one. We won two. We won the individual, we won the teams. And then the other one, we finished middle of the pack. So I know we're doing good. And I'm like, honest to God, I can't do this. And it's going to be the reason that he doesn't win whatever we're winning, because no one even knew what we were winning. Even if it's just the title, like we're,
it's
the trail heroes.
It's the popcorn bucket. It's the popcorn bucket.
It is. Yeah, it's of zero value to me.
It's of zero value to most people.
Back even. Before they threw the curveball about the co-driver doing everything, and we were kind of making our plan, the guys from number 2 were next to us, and he's like, well, I'm the last. I just have a little chintzy 12-volt air compressor. And I go, well, I got 2, because like we mentioned before, I was like, I got my original one that I don't need. I said, it's literally sitting with my other MORRFlate one. As soon as we grab them, I'm like, you could have that one. So then like once they threw the curveball, I mean, to those guys' credit, like she's like, I can't do it. And they're like, well, no, you'll do it easily. Because as soon as they're like, co-drivers can help co-drivers. So like, I knew the biggest issue for her was getting to it, because that was the one where I kept telling myself to move them towards the back, and I never did. Yeah. So you had to get more towards the front of my bed to get it. But the problem was at that point I had like our clothes bags and stuff strapped to the top. So it's kind of like throw those off, roll the cover up. It took a little more work to get to than like the tools for the tire change challenge and stuff like that. So that was the hardest part, hands down. And they're like, he's a co-driver, can help co-drivers. He's like, well, he's like, I'll help you. I said, yeah. I said, in the front of the bed is where the compressors are. They're literally stacked sitting together. I said, help her tear into the bed to get to that stuff. Pull them both out. She'll take the one and start running. You grab the other one, run to your vehicle, and then we're good. And to those guys' credit, he helped her hook up the hoses, helped her hook up the compressor. Like he did everything. She's like, I'm good.
I kept telling him I've got it from here, and he just kept helping me. And this is the atmosphere. This is the team vibe. Like,
and I told him hands down, I wasn't lying. I said, because the prize was the same MORRFlate compressor I already had.
If we win it, we'll give it to you.
It's like I already got one shipped to me directly from Tyler. Yeah.
We didn't win it, but I gave them my extra compressor.
Gave away his Christmas present. Which was far inferior. I didn't authorize it. I completed that. We wouldn't have won. We would not have won without number 2. We wouldn't.
No, absolutely.
I really like that sentence, just so you know. We would not have won without number 2. That's chef's kiss. And they and so I actually did interview them already, and we did talk about you guys a little bit during that time frame. And they that was a point of pride for them, was the fact that they both got that from you, and that they were able to help you guys in that moment. So that was awesome.
I'm going to cry. Like, honestly, that's how much them helping me meant to me, because I didn't want to leave them down. And, I was, it is an easy task filling a tire.
Well, allegedly.
Logically, I know that. Allegedly, yeah. Filling it, we have a good setup. I know how it all works. I've helped him air down before. Never with this setup that's brand new to him and me. But I know how an air compressor works. I know how to help him. I can hook it up and watch the number till it gets to the thing, to the desired PSI. I can do that. Except for it wasn't set in PSI. What was it set in?
Well, so not having used the compressor,
I couldn't figure it out.
That back and forth until it hit your PSI.
We thought it was done.
Cut off. Well, it would run and then stop. So
And I was like, it thinks it's done.
And since it wasn't, I can't touch the compressor during this
Exactly.
event. And since it wasn't in PSI, it was either in bars or the other setting. We don't know, like, maybe that setting's so low, it thinks you're done.
I don't know what the conversion is. I have set it to 20. Was it 20?
20 PSI was the goal.
I had to get to 20, and I set it to 20 bars or whatever. I was like, it thinks it's done. How do I start it again?
And it probably wasn't done. It was just hitting those pause cycles for a back pressure check. But, like, again, having never used the system prior to that, you know, one of those things where not only know where your gear is at, know how your gear works kind of scenarios.
I think that, and I don't think you're the guys are the only the folks that ran into that issue at all. So,
and also, I mean,
no, I don't.
It took no time at all when you could take a breath and look at it and play with it. But when you're trying to do it as fast as possible, you're not thinking about that, like, because you're in a race. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, hit that button, and like, because I'm making sure I'm not too close so nobody could say you're, you know. But I'm like, that's the button I think you want to hit, and I mean, you want to hit that one, and like, it was.
He's like,
it was interesting,
trying to see as best he can.
Right? Oh my gosh!
But luckily, we were able to basically brute force it in that competition, because the one thing we had was the I'm gonna blank the air hub, their newer device. So it goes between the airlines and the compressor, and it gives you a PSI readout
on it. So that was in PSI, and the other was.
Technically, we didn't need to use the air hub if I had known how the compressor worked initially, and we set it to 20 PSI, just let it run and didn't touch it, we would have been good. So instead, I'm like, well, the air hub's giving you the readout. And since we thought the other one kept sounding, I said, just keep hitting the up arrow, turn the bar setting as high as it lets you go, because we're not going to overinflate the tire. We're just going to watch the air hub and check that sporadically and know when it says 20 PSI, we're good. So we basically just brute forced it by not relying on the compressor setting.
Did you guys win that competition? Oh, you were second, right?
No.
I think we were third or fourth.
I think we were in third place.
She says that like it's a big
great
deal.
One.
We were third out of 12. Like, I think everybody participated in that one too. Like, I don't feel.
I told you I want to win.
You're right. I apologize.
Like, if I'm not number one, it's a problem.
You're right.
I have a
that's
problem.
my bad. I apologize. You're right. 100%.
No, but so we weren't as good as I had wanted to be. And I afterwards, self-reflection, I was like, well, if I had just done X, or if I had done this, or if I had done that, it would have been faster. We would have done this. And then, the last day you're like, if I would have cared to come out of the hotel room and saw what the setup was when he got it, I would have known how it is. Or if I would have listened to my husband when he talked and bragged on how to use it, I would have known more about how to set this thing up. You're your own worst enemy, thinking all of these things after the fact. Did I cost us this?
Yeah. It also doesn't help when Rich announces what the difference was at the end of the event, which we'll talk about in just a second, because it was real close, right?
Yeah. It was real close.
All right. Okay, but
so before we get to that, then so the last challenge was another team's challenge.
Yes.
And that it came down to throwing the footballs after all the contraption,
the
mousetrap building everything together, and then you got to sink the 4
Shout out to Randall on the mousetrap that everybody hated.
yeah. Randall,
the man in the UGG.
Yeah, Randall put some work in on all those games, so
he really did.
Shout out to him and his team that helped him on that.
I still have splinters, and
but so
sand it better next time.
I will say it was very stressful because the one thing to touch back on the other team's challenge, I liked the puzzle aspect because it wasn't like the trying to do like the ring toss or the cornhole or something like that under pressure with seeing the other teams next to you and trying to get that done fast. But also I hated it because it was the clutch position, because I'm like, it's a puzzle.
Let everyone
down. The rest of our team kicked ass to get us to the end with a good bit of lead going into the puzzle. I'm like, now it's on us and luckily though, with the puzzle, the team was able to stand there and they can kind of cheer you on and say, hey, I could see that piece over there, because you're kneeling on the ground throwing pieces around. You kind of can't see the forest through the trees kind of scenario.
They're like, the one by your left hand.
they were able to help with that,
Really
and that was it. The team was amazing on that challenge and helped us, get that puzzle completed. Jump to the last team's challenge with the footballs. I'm like, what do I do? I go, oh, that was so close. Like, how do you I can't help
You can't help.
anybody throw a football into a basket while you're standing there. There's no like, hey, grab that piece over there, whatever it is. So like, and I feel bad for him because it's super stressful. I was glad I wasn't.
Bryce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was glad I was not the one that had to do that at the very end of that whole challenge and trying to sink all the footballs at the end.
But on the other hand, like I think that
Team-
I think those competitions, while they felt like camp games to a certain degree, and they were supposed to feel like camp games to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
I think they also kind of speak to when you are overlanding, especially, there are those of us who we typically do a lot of this stuff by ourselves. But when you set out on an adventure like this, you might be setting out on an adventure with a bunch of people you've never met before. And you've got to figure out how to work with them, or you don't, and you get disqualified. And you have that. It sucks, but it is. I think that was part of the competition. I think that's why he did it that way.
I think that was really smart. It definitely shows the environment that off-roading truly is. I don't think anyone got angry with anyone, and it was really just helpful. It was, you're doing it this way, do it that way, or you're, this or that. Like there was so much help in both of those team competitions. That, that's what it's like when you're out on a trail and I just blew like you
pull the tie rod end.
you break the tie rod end, and you have to ratchet strap that back together, and you're at the mercy of your group to see, like, I have X tools, this person has this, who's got this, can we get this MacGyvered up to be able to get out of the woods. And I want to say like 9 out of 10 times you can. But you have to rely on your group, and it teaches that group environment, that mentality. And it wasn't until you just said that it clicked for me that, that is this lifestyle, that you rely on your peers, you rely on the fellows that are out there with you.
And you have to.
Yeah. And everyone brings a unique skill set. Like the guys from Larger Than Life, like he was repacking a wheel bearing out there to get his rig back on the
trail.
I couldn't have done that.
I wouldn't want to do that. Like, yeah. So like, that's great that he was able to do that and, keep moving on forward in the rest of the event and everything.
And to your point, Susan, I will say this too. Like one of the things that was really impressive to me, and it's impressive to me in general, like I've been doing this for 10 plus years now. Since I've kind of started off-roading when I moved here to Colorado, I've never really seen people fight on the trail. I've seen couples fight, but for not reasons related to off-roading. It's all other stuff going on in their lives. But I have never seen like two random people who had just met each other on the trail fighting for whatever reason about whatever. It's always been a spirit of cooperation. It's always been a spirit of, how can I help this person so that we can all get off the trail safely and go home safely and get back to where we need to be? There's never any there's never any judgment, right? Like, all right, I'll say it because you guys didn't bring it up, but I'll bring it up. I'm the only person that got stuck on this whole trip. Like other than Keenan popping a tire, I'm the only person that got physically stuck outside of the sandhill that didn't have to get pulled up and out of something, because I got stuck in Sand Hollow. I don't think you guys might have left already.
I didn't know.
Okay, well, welcome to the party, everybody. So while Rich was trying,
wait, you're gonna give me a boost here, a morale boost. I did not get stuck
eat
in
it up.
Sand Hollow.
Eat it up, Susan. It's all for you.
We did most of the drive.
No, shut up. All right. So
yes, you did. I wanted to spin my ass end out, and I did.
All right. So for those of you unfamiliar with this so far, for the story so far, I'm just going to supercut my telling of this story together. You guys were all leaving camp, and I had tried to move me and my obnoxious trailer out of the way of the shot. And in doing so, I managed to go into the only soft spot in the area and sink to the frame because my tires weren't low enough. And I had a couple thousand pounds I was trailing behind me. My biggest problem was I didn't have my new tires down low enough. So yes, as far as I know, other than the sandhill, and everybody trying to get up that, I am the only person that got stuck. And it was at camp in Sand Hollow. Yeah, that's all right.
I didn't know anybody got stuck on a sand.
That's where that first day, remember we stopped and kind of watched them in the
Yeah.
distance?
Oh, at the
Did
very
you guys avoid
beginning.
that? Good call.
Yeah. We did, because we were on the other ridge at the time and we could see it all happening. And we're like, if they, next to the Suburban, we're the biggest, probably with the most weight after the Suburban. And if they can't make it up, safer for us to.
Look, I have not talked to them yet, but I'm looking forward to talking to them. I don't think it was going to be about the size. I really think I think it was about the fact that they were made to be a mudder, and they're used to mudding, and sand is different than mud.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I think those Kendas would have ate it up because they did good on everything.
Good?
I was gonna
That
try
wasn't
it.
what I was
and
but
thinking.
the
lockers.
problem
I was
was
just
everyone had already come back by the time we
Yeah.
were going through, so we couldn't even get through without letting everybody pass. So to make sure that nobody kind of got lost, because we're a big part of don't leave anybody behind, basically,
Yes.
we kind of grouped up with a couple other people and basically worked the detour together to get to the one other ridge
Well,
to get around
Fran
it.
and Larger Than Life.
Yeah,
so we
That was a
went
good
with
call.
them. We spent a lot of our time those first couple of days with Fran and
was a
Larger
good
Than
call.
Life, and
Yeah.
wonderful people.
And like I said, other than one moment, and until I talked to those two people about whether or not they want me to share that moment, other than that one moment I heard no infighting. I heard no cross, fighting between groups and people, and the infighting was only I'm gonna use the air quotes, and it was on the last day. Nobody had their McDonald's yet. Nobody had been in the pool yet. Nobody had a shower yet. Everybody was kind of done, and I get that part of it. So, yeah. Oh God, that was the best shower
Yeah.
ever.
It was a really good shower.
But it was really nice to see. It was just really nice to see everybody gel so well. As a whole, and on the competition, at the campfire, at breakfast, the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah, like I said many times when we were there, I think the most impressive thing with all the work that had to go into it was the fact that Rich and the team were able to put together a crew from a vehicle recovery perspective to chase the whole, let's say the physical crew aspect of it, film crew aspect of it, the cast of it, and everybody was amazing. There wasn't a person part of it that we wouldn't hang out with again and do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are the chances with that many people involved in anything? I don't care what hobby you want to throw out there. What are the chances that you can pick 40 to 50 people and not have a single person that you're like, I'm going to stay away from that individual for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever it may be.
I don't like that person. I don't like people in general. I am, ew.
Susan, you and I are closer than you ever thought. Yep.
and there wasn't an a-hole in the group that I was like, I don't want to be near this person. There wasn't.
Even Keenan, I still liked him. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Keenan. I'm looking at you. No, I'm just kidding. No,
you said it.
But no, you're right. It was I had a great time with everybody I talked to. I've had a great time with everybody I talked to since then, and and maybe that speaks to Rich's ability to kind of know who's picking for this event. But I think part of it is just the community. I think part of it is just, this is what you get. You get what you see, and hopefully by the show should have aired by the time the majority of this interview airs. But I hope that shows and comes through on the reality show part of it, right? That there's just this family that just formed overnight. We all met, production to cast to everybody. We all met, and then we were all immediately friends and family in the desert for the next 7 days. Shared dinner.
I've gotten text messages about, how was your daughter's graduation? These are people that I met for a week. This is, lifelong friends and relationships that we've forged because we shared an amazing experience together. That we hope to. And there's talk about renting a house together for Trail Hero, literally staying in a house with everyone from the group. That's amazing. just got along. We all
Yeah.
clicked.
As a person who would love to film part of that, I wholly endorse that. From a reality show standpoint, get y'all in a house. Let's do this real world style.
Let's
Yeah,
see how it
mhm.
goes. That might be your for outtake. That's when we've had time to sit and marinate and see how it went.
Well, that's
and,
the thing
you
is
know.
because then in that particular, it's way easier to drink and not feel like you're exhausted from driving all day. So I think that's the concern.
Absolutely.
Nice. All right. Now we've gone through the whole piece of it. Susan has fallen in love with Sand Hollow. Nathan is going to lose money for the rest of his life taking trips to Utah or buying a house. And you guys, you're feeling pretty decent about the competition at this point, right?
I'm feeling, top 5, definitely. I'm feeling like we're doing well. Doing the math there. I really thought it was
Adventure Labs.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I thought it was Adventure Labs because they had done the end, that last challenge.
Yeah, the teams challenge.
The teams challenge and hit it, and they were money for
They were
everything, and
consistent
they
in
were
all the challenges.
consistent. Yeah, and ours wasn't necessarily. We didn't make that last challenge, so we didn't have the best time, and thinking that they were more consistent throughout the whole thing, that they were, their money. So they're going through and they're like, okay, so we didn't make top 3. Okay. Or, they start listing off and they start with the 3rd. They didn't make it. And then they, they're leading up to
because we're now you're talking about the banquet dinner, right? We're talking about they're announcing. Yeah,
the banquet dinner.
It just, if you're listening,
so
because I don't know what the TV show is going to air and what they aren't going to air, but so the piece that you may have seen, the last piece you probably saw was going to have been the competition piece in Sand Hollow, and then after. Well, that would be the interpiece between the two places. But the place that's going to come from, the piece that's going to come from is the banquet at this point. You guys nobody knows who's won yet, right? Nobody has any.
We've had dinner. We've had a few drinks where, Johnny's slowly losing his mind. I'm like, Nathan, we got to get out of here.
Poor Johnny. I felt so bad for him because he's just like, all I want to do is sleep. I'm done now.
It's so late and he wanted to sleep. And I was like, we got to go. But, part of me was like, we have to stay down here. We have to stay down here. Like what I was like, the moment we leave is the moment we've won it all, is what my head says. And I'm like, so I'm letting him run in the hall and I'm trying, Nathan, Nathan kept checking on us. I was like, you have to go back in there because you have to see this. This is your experience. Let me mom this is you go back in there. That's your element.
This explains so much as a person who was just inside trying to record all of it. Like this tells me so much about what was going on. All right, I love it. Okay.
And he's losing his mind in the hall and he's trying to steal people's alcoholic drinks because they are pretty and they're in glass containers and I want to stick my hand in it. And Johnny is like, please just let me go to bed. And I am like, we will go to bed after they've announced everything. After it's done, I will take you upstairs and I will let you sleep.
Because of course,
which
he
was also
napped
a lie.
on the driving days every day except the last
day.
So that's the only day he won for the driving event. He did not sleep.
He thought he knew he was getting McDonald's. He didn't want to sleep. He knew at the end.
You know what?
He said there's arches at the end of this day.
Golden arches and a cheeseburger with my name on it.
Yeah, I kept telling him we got like 2 hours left, buddy. You got plenty of time for a nap. And he is
I blame you then for that, Nathan. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he's being a little bear and, I'm outside and Nathan keeps checking on us. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm literally just staying out here until the end. Well, then he chills and then they're starting to do the awards at the end. So we had
to go up on stage because we won the tire change challenge and they had like the gift certificate presentation that went with that challenge win. So I'm like, hey, they're calling us up. So then of course Johnny turns into a little ham when he's on stage. He's like wearing my sunglasses.
He's like, oh, I've been amazing this whole time.
I've been awesome. Pay no attention to the man in the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about my temper tantrum as my parents have lugged me from the room as I'm kicking and screaming.
I'm the same way, Johnny. Don't feel bad.
But yeah, he gets up there. He was all about the spotlight. Apparently, it may not be his last time on camera. He was all about it.
I don't know. I felt he was very comfortable in front of all those lights and cameras.
He
That's
really was. He wanted to be involved. And for a boy that never wants to be the center of attention, he did.
That's really cool. All right. So we're down to the top two, and you guys, you think you're out of it at this point?
Thought we were out of it.
Would not have been surprised.
I thought we were. I was like, we made 4. We made the 4th, and I'm like, I don't know who the top 2 are. I knew. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on their names, but the people who took 3rd.
Oh, Adventure
Duo. They were amazing.
Because I believe they won the first challenge.
They won the first challenge with the
Right.
blindfold, so their time was great.
They were with us on the first team challenge,
and the
so
team
they won that. So they
challenge.
obviously had a good time.
And I thought,
because our only one really bright spot of it was the tire change,
right?
and everything else was kind of like we had the team win, the second place team, and then the third place air. So like it was kind of all over the place enough that
who knows?
Yeah.
And they didn't give enough data at everyone for us to really be like sitting there doing our calculations. Because I would have been.
It wasn't like you knew that you were X minutes behind.
There were no
on that one. You
leaderboards
could,
for
like,
anybody to follow. Yeah.
There were no leaderboards. They just said, you're in a strong position. And I was like, this a-hole's saying that to everyone. He just wants us to keep pushing. He's just getting our hopes up there. And then I'm like, I'm doing the math. And I was like, we might be in a strong position. And then I was like, there's no way we're in a strong position. And I thought maybe it was us because they won one, we won one. And then our team's challenge was together that we won together. It's like, them and us. And when they took 3rd, I was like, we were 4th. We were 4th. I was out of it. And I was like, I don't know who it is, but it happened when I wasn't paying attention. And then they announced second
Did you leave
place.
the room at any point by chance? Or were you still hanging around? Okay.
No. John was actually still being good by this point.
After we went up on stage that first time for the tire change challenge certificates and got the talk, he kind of was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
This is kind of fun. Yeah. I'm involved. He was chill. We didn't leave after that. And we're in the back, but there was times when I was like, maybe we have to leave, because he's still getting all wily. But they announced number 2 and it wasn't us.
So,
and
I'm stopping you right here for a reason because at this point, and I don't know if this made the final the final show, and I hope that it does, but Rich or Glenn, I don't know who did it, but they kind of like they went out to the crowd. They're like, all right, guys, who do you think won it? And like the entire room goes Team Danger Zone. Like there was no hesitation. Like there was nothing. And I'm like, no, that can't possibly be it. But in the same time, I'm like, I don't know, that first thing. But, and then he says to you guys, what?
Yeah, I was like, when he said that, he's like, so who do you think took first or whatever? And then the room says Danger Zone. I'm like,
you guys are high.
No effing
right,
way.
exactly. Y'all go back to your room, Mesquite. Yeah.
Who do you guys think it is? Danger Zone. Danger Zone. Danger Zone comes on a family vacation and goes home. Grand prize winner. The Trailhead Roulette. Go figure that one out. Well done, gang. Holy cow.
Y'all have been drinking already.
Well, we had been drinking.
I was happy with the way
we had been.
Yeah, we did good on the challenges. It was a respectable turnout, but I was not expecting.
We weren't there to win.
To win it overall. Like, so we didn't even expect the place because we figured that we were going to either be handicapped and not participating in all the challenges anyway. So it wasn't even, an option really that we considered started the whole thing, let alone. And then when he goes after announcing Adventure Labs in second and then going, it was a 16-second discrepancy.
Yeah.
16 seconds. We won by 16.
Yeah, and it's not
like,
at this point. Yeah,
you're helping us. I mean, that was more than a 16-second difference that they created there, helping us alone.
Absolutely.
Bryce having to sink all those footballs at the end. Like that could have easily gone 17 seconds longer than it did with the two of them going back and forth trying to get the balls in there. So it's just like it was all just kind of a big
crapshoot.
Crapshoot for lack of a better term.
I think that's an accurate representation. I even think Rich would probably agree with that that particular ideation, and I will ask him about that when I talk with him. Like, would you consider it a crapshoot in terms of who won what? And,
could have been, yeah. Literally.
I think a lot of it was structured, and I think a lot of it was also kind of like he didn't kind of know what was going to happen with this particular kind of setup, and lo and behold, this is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of life in general. Like, if you don't try it, it won't happen. And like anything could happen, really. I mean, because even if you look at that first teams challenge with the ring toss board getting destroyed, if that didn't happen, there could have been a completely different outcome there too.
Completely different outcome.
You had 1/3 of the teams was eliminated almost before it began.
Yeah,
just by
Susan, you could have been done after that blindfold challenge and been like, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm here for the pictures and the waypoints, and we'll do it.
Yeah, that is what I was there for. And I was like, I was like, this was not what we signed up for, or not what I signed up for. And he called it. He said he thought he was going to be blindfolded as we're standing around waiting for everybody else to compete. He thought he would be blindfolded. And of course, we were the last people to go because we were the last people to show up to camp. And so like the anxiety for that first one had already been building. And
you kind of could predict it because they showed the course before we all pre-ran it. So you're like, the course is too easy. Clearly, you're blindfolding somebody. Like, I don't think there was a person there that didn't guess it like immediately. So you're just thinking about it the whole time.
And you're just letting it get to you. And I'm like, I'm going to have to give him directions. And like, we don't work well together, which the show will show that we do.
I was going to say,
it definitely showed that is stronger, but most of the time I'm like, stop telling me what to do.
And I wonder, part of me that was going to be one of my questions for you guys. Like, and that's funny. I find that you say that because it felt to me like part of the reason you guys ended up in this situation is because you work well together as a team. And whether or not that's like, well, I see you shaking your head saying no, but I
in our day to day,
but I think the imperial evidence shows otherwise. Like, I think that you've got great kids. Johnny's amazing. Like, you guys have managed to keep him alive for the last 4 years. I think that's impressive. But like to that end, like I don't think people give themselves enough credit. Like I think you see what you see on Instagram and you see what you see in the Facebook groups and all the rest of it, and people think that's what life is supposed to be. And I think no, life is this stuff. It's the stuff that if you're out there and you are just getting through life day to day, and whether, you may argue some here and there, but if you guys still come back together at the end of the day and are willing to take on an adventure like this and then have that much fun at it, despite all of the challenges that you guys encountered along the way, I think you're stronger than you think you are. And I think that's why people around you were like, yeah, Team Danger Zone won that shit, because they're all looking at you guys going like, these guys have been hitting it on all cylinders as a team since they got here. And yeah, that's my take on it. You take it or leave it.
I think we are always our own worst critics as humans, so they saw something that we didn't see, that I didn't see. You didn't think we were getting it.
No, I thought, like I said, after that first team competition, I was like, we're in a strong position, but then we kind of
wavered.
Not wavered, but we did good, but everyone was doing good. So it was like, there was no, I mean, I would not have predicted anybody in any position, because who was that? Because like I said, everybody did good, and it wasn't like nobody ran away with it. There was nobody that won every single challenge. So like everyone kind of had their moment to shine. So it could have been anybody. I could not have guessed the top 3 by the time we got there at all, because it could have been anybody. Between the teams challenges being, the teams were changed up, different teams did well. There wasn't anybody that won more than one individual challenge. So like everybody had a good balance of, how it played out.
So that's my piece I would take away for you guys is that I think that the majority of us looking from the outside in were just that we were surprised, not surprised, but I think we were those teams that had a really good connection, whether because they were friends or because they were married or both, or because they were friends that should be married. I'm looking at you, Jeff and Brian. As long as you guys had that kind of connection, I think that really made for a better team experience. It made for a better time. Like I think you guys, if I had to give an award to the people who I think had the most fun, again, despite all the challenges you guys had, right? Who had the most fun on the trail, it would you guys, or maybe Fran. I feel like Fran had a really good time. So she killed it out there.
Love her.
You guys had a great time. Like you guys
She did that whole first day with no digital map. That was impressive. She did paper map with no navigator.
And I give her credit for that, but I also understand why she switched.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I was watching the Utah's Best guys, and even they were reading off coordinates to each other and feeding them into the GPS units. I'm just like, I couldn't even. Fran, I'm looking forward to talking to her. Like that was a thing for her to do. So, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. And like, so we kind of hung out with her for a bit that first day when we kind of all met up after that one sandhill we talked about. So it was Fran, us, and the larger than life gentleman. And there was a lot of times where like she was leading and she was killing it with the directions and knew because like, and we'd hit like a crossroads, she'd pause for a little bit and then go. Cause I'm like, I'm staying back because I'm using the digital map. I know which way to go, but I'm trying, like, I don't want to interfere with her experience of doing it. And like I said, she was kicking ass. I wouldn't have wanted to do it with a navigator, let alone solo the way she was doing.
And I don't think that was her intention again, but she killed it. She
that would have been the biggest challenges if we had to try to navigate without a digital map.
That's where that would have been the end of our marriage.
I appreciate that you at least recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We never considered anything beyond the beginner level.
I was like, we're getting the GPS, right?
He's like, that's a good decision for your marriage, especially when it doesn't matter into the final like competition piece of things. So.
Yeah.
No, that was personal preference at that point.
Even if it did calculate in at the end,
do I win this competition or do I save my marriage? Yeah, I get those. Those are definitely competing interests.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, guys. I will tell you that Nathan, I've known you for a long time out, in a ethereal perspective. It was awesome to meet you in person. And Susan, it was awesome to meet you for the first time. But between the other story that you guys told me and just everything that you guys went through and the whole adventure and the whole trip, like I was inconsolable at the end of that event. I don't know if you could see me or not, but at that moment, but I was just like, you couldn't do anything to me or for me at that point. It was so awesome to see you guys kind of come full circle, and as surprised as you were about everything else about it, as surprised as I think, a couple of some of the people who were just there just because of the level of the competition from the beginning of the week to the end of the week. And it was really impressive. And all the stuff you guys went through, it was just like, again, get to the end of some things and you're just like, that was just like perfect. Like that couldn't have been more perfect the whole way around. Like it was just awesome. So congratulations, guys. Congratulations on winning the weird random prize package of stuff.
Well,
I didn't even listen when he was listing off the prize package. We don't even know what it is.
It was all like everything was so crazy. Like I said at the end, not even expecting to be in that scenario. Like we're driving the next morning. I'm driving her and Johnny to the airport, and she's like, "So what did we win?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Something about a golf package I gave away. Yeah.
I was like,
we did give that away, yeah.
But I was like, I know we got the winch because I had to get that up to the hotel room. I said, I know Rich was up there and listed off a bunch of stuff. I said, I can't tell you
because I didn't think it was us.
What any of that was. Like,
I didn't pay attention because we didn't think it was us, and then when they did say it was us, we were like, crap, we got to go up there now.
Yeah, we can even tell, depending on how they cut the video. Like, there's a good amount of pause between them announcing it and like us even standing up.
And us just kind of staring at each other.
Yeah, like, okay, like, is that what happened?
No, I gotta go back and look at my video
for
now.
the
'Cause
extra-
I didn't check that out yet.
With Johnny.
I eventually stood up and picked them up, but we were all sitting down at first,
Were
kind of
we?
looking at each other, and like, I don't know if they said come up or it finally clicked or what, but there's a
Kind of
decent amount of pause.
Now that
there
you say it,
between,
I feel like somebody said like you got to come up here. I feel like there was direction, like you got to do that. Yeah, boy, that's so funny. That's so funny.
So, I mean, if you know what we won, please let us know.
I'll let you know when I still haven't reviewed all the video from it.
Thing to do with the prizes.
Yeah.
What we truly
we won
won
Amazing Family Adventures.
was the family time, was the Johnny, watching him learn and grow and watching him react and know and trust these people in an environment he's not been in before. What we really won was learning to rely on each other in a time of like absolute need, learning to speak what we need, both in giving directions and learning to take directions, because that's not something I do well.
Especially in those crisis moments, right?
And now I know.
Yeah.
I have to go change the tire.
Oh, now he knows I can change a tire. So actually, I didn't win. This has been
You did.
all is lost.
Trust me, you come out on the top of this no matter what, Susan. I hate to tell Nathan this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nathan, you've been with the show the longest, buddy, but I got to side with her on this one.
I think I can give you credit for it on stage.
He did. He cried on stage, and I'm like sitting there like, I don't even know how to go after that. How do I follow that?
That's awesome though. I think part of it is that, there's just a lot of emotion comes throughout in the course of a week, because it was a long week for everybody. It was between the challenges and everything else going on behind the scenes. It was just a long week for everybody. So there is that part of it. I'll give you that part, Nathan. And I'm not going to make fun of you for crying, because I've had my own teary moments about you two in this whole situation since the get-go. So I'm not even going to talk about it from this particular episode. What I will say is that it was really awesome to see you guys just like end up on top. Just end up in that position from that first moment where I saw Susan just jump up and like, we're done, like to the end. Like I was just like, oh, this is right in the hearts, right in the feels. It was beautiful. It was amazing. So congratulations, guys. That's just, and kudos to you. And now, you've got to come to Trail Hero. You have zero choice. Like, as the winner, like you have got, he's gonna trot you up there. You realize that, right?
Guess we'll have to make some Team Danger Zone shirts before October. We didn't get them done.
Don't know.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's okay. Here's so Susan, I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. He's not going to do anything about that until the middle of September. And he's be like, oh, damn, I need to order those shirts, because that's what I do. So I'm just warning you ahead of time that's what's coming.
We'll get them eventually. We got our Trail Hero shirts already. We ordered those from the website.
Nice subject change, Nathan. Yeah. Nice subject change.
So don't even let him say this, like he did this. No. Yeah, okay.
That was beautiful. That was nice. You can't.
She's worn her twice.
So here's the problem, Nathan. When you're on the show and it's just you can BS us all you want to, but the problem is Susan's right there. Like she's there to fact check you. Yeah, and she's gonna do it.
I live to put his shit on. You gotta take the wins when you get them, because he very, very seldom is wrong. And I will say that. He almost always is correct. He almost always proves me wrong. So when it's me over him,
I get it.
I'm taking the
I understand. It's why I get crap for getting stuck and getting lost, because those are things that shouldn't happen to me. I get it. Yes. 100%. 100%. All right. We should get out of here, guys. We've been talking way too long. No kidding. And there's the thing. Like Susan will be fine. She'll make up all her sleep tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, I will. I work from home, and I can start my day.
Stephen or Mike, we won't tell you anything about that part of it. And Stephen or Mike, thank you for giving them time off. Both of them for time off on Trail Hero. Just in case you haven't gotten it. If you need that clip, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
It's already
Okay.
system and
Same.
rubber stamp.
Just checking, just making sure. Okay, cool. All right. Well, is there anything that we kind of didn't touch base on this, like this whole thing that you guys wanted to talk about, or do you think we hit most of it?
I think
I think we covered most of it. Anything else?
just our gratitude.
Yeah.
Because like we were a wild card. Like we were a wild card. Like you could invite this family out there with this child and this could be a disaster. Because they don't know Johnny. I mean, they've seen Nathan's, his videos and everything that he posts, but people put their best foot on social media. So you don't truly know what you're going to get. And so they took a chance on our
Especially after they
mission.
had to cut the field in half. Like that's any person that either didn't make it to show up or had the bail early would be a huge impact on the show and the event, because now you're 1 of 12 instead of 1 of 25. So you needed to be able to rely on those 12 teams to show up and be there for the event. So yeah, it was definitely, like you said,
Being
thanks
chosen was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a once in a lifetime experience, and even when I had my worst, that literally was my worst mental health day in my life, 40 years, and that was my worst mental health day. 10 out of 10, I'd do again.
Beat me to the next
because
question. Yeah,
the
would you do this
highs-
again as a competitor?
Yeah, absolutely. We would do it again. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
It was amazing.
Okay. All right. Would you?
Probably have the Toad out there next time, maybe. That'd be the
He
one
may not
change.
drive to and from. I still will be on a plane.
I mean, here's the thing, Nathan. We've talked to, and I don't know what kind of investigation you did. There's a number of folks that we talked to that love doing the cross country thing, and I know Mark is one of them. And we'll talk off air about it. And he's got some sort of hookup or some place that he talks about because he gets his stuff shipped out from the East Coast to Sand Hollow every time he comes out because he just hates driving it. And he says it's pretty much a wash for
He
him.
might just be
I'm glad.
incredibly wealthy because when I looked it up, it was
Well,
cost.
so here's the thing. I think it depends on your time frame, right? Like if you can set it up way in advance and kind of get on board with like 9 other cars going in that direction, you might be able to get a better deal. But it depends on it, because if you try to drop ship a Jeep from the East Coast to Sand Hollow, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, UPS is gonna have a real good day with you. But you got that stuff's gotta. Yeah, what I'm saying is, Nathan, if you want to drive your own Jeep, it's a trailer. You're probably gonna have to start researching that now, and book it.
I told him we're not.
Yeah, we're
He
probably
doesn't have enough PTO
Fair
for
enough.
that.
we're probably gonna rent a side by side while we're out there.
There you
Change
go.
up too, because we're used to
You know what?
full-size
I'll do that with you
deals,
because I
so-
need to rent one of those and see what the hubbub is all about. I've never driven one. All right.
That's what I'm very excited
All
for.
right, maybe that's what I
side-by-side.
should do. I just,
Yeah. Change it up something different. Plus, we figure you want to rip through the sand dunes. It's kind of hard to beat the side by side, right?
I don't know. Wasn't there some of our teammates that sell those things?
Oh, there
Maybe
is.
and get the hookup.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. Do they sell them?
It's the trailer.
Oh, they do sell them. Yeah, they do. They do, and moon buggies along with those too.
Whoa.
Yeah, they do, and they're local. Just saying. Just saying.
And they are local. And do you need someone?
And they will
to-
show you. Like those guys knew where to go. Like, I'm kind of surprised. Like if there had been points for if there had been more points for the competition portion of things, I think, or no, excuse me, for the adventure portion of things, I think that they might have been able to get those times in there. Not the Adventure Labs guys just because of their speed, but those guys, they knew where the hell they were going. Like that's their backyard. So they would have taken all the shortcuts if they had to. You have all this off-road cred you can't talk about yet. At the time of this recording, you can't talk about.
Yeah.
You can't talk about.
I mean, we can definitely say
I
what
won.
part of the
I
show.
won the first
Here's a
overland
t-shirt.
competition from Trail Hero. Yeah, you can't say it. Yeah.
Your logos on the Jeep. I told her for October I'm gonna get it as seen on TV. sticker for the
100%.
Jeep.
I think you should do that, and I think you should go full with it. Like first winner of Trail Hero expeditions, like those, just full turn into it. As long as Well, until people start calling you on it, and then you should probably all.
Well, I got so many people like work and stuff that always ask me about it because I've been talking about it leading up to the event, and they're like, "Oh, when's it air?" And you tell them where it airs, and like nobody knows. So I can't wait till I get to watch it, and they're like, "I can't believe we've talked about this for." Like 7 months, and you
couldn't
never
tell me
told
that
us.
one thing is like, dude, do you have any idea the 32 pages of paperwork I signed in the middle in the dark? Yeah.
Well, where I work, you have to sign an NDA just in my building, so they know about NDAs. But like, hey, I signed an NDA for the ship.
Everyone, yeah, same with my work. Like I did talk about it on meetings, and there's in our department, there's roughly 300 employees, and then a couple more hundred vendors, and I'm in management of that. And they're all asking, so how'd you do? And my sentence is, we did very well, and I think you should watch when it airs. And then they'll keep asking questions, and I was like, I can't say anymore, but we did very well, and I think you should watch when it airs.
I said we did better than we expected.
See, those are all. I think those are all well within the frame of what you can say. Yes, I think that's good.
Yeah. We can solve it.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, good deal. And sorry, so Bantam and then Alaska, which is not off-road related, but awesome. And then Trail Hero.
Not.
But we actually
we are going. We have side by sides rented up in Alaska that we're going some off-roading.
We'll be taking the cameras.
Right. I look forward to your report, Nathan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to hear all about that.
Should be fun. And then after that, probably just back into the standard
life. And I don't want to do anything else.
My like once a month off-roading trips to the local park, and then that'll be about it.
It's good to take a break. Yeah, it's good to take a break, especially out by you guys in the summer. It's just swampy and humid and bugs and not fun.
So
it's raining like every day now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The reason I want to move to Utah.
Not fun.
Who would have thought? Utah is where I want to go. I don't know. It's not. I have never said that in my life, but
from talking to you on day one to talking to you about Sand Hollow, like you were so like you lit up when somebody said to you about Sand Hollow. You're just like, I always want to come back here. Like it was such a funny transition from day one to day 4, day 5. Like it was so beautiful.
Oh, it really was. It really was. And I'm like, I work from home. I technically can work from there.
I mean, if you can make it work, do it. Like I'm telling you, just do it. Just yeah.
We might open a facility out west at some point. I told them I'm volunteering to go out there and scout locations.
Trail Hero. Trail Hero last year was my first adventure out there, and man, now I'm willing to crash on anybody's couch within an hour radius just to be there and hang out and have a good time on the mountain. So I get it, 100% get it. All right, good deal. All right, well, I feel like we've covered it all. Nathan, did we get you? Is there anything else we missed? You'll be back to tell us if we did. I know you will. Tomorrow? Oh, you're gonna be here tomorrow night? All right, cool, good deal. Tomorrow night is going to be our conversation where we dance around all the stuff we talked about tonight. Without we pull the Susan. You did very well, but I think you should watch the show. I might actually cut that from tonight and just play it at random points throughout the episode. I like this. I like it a lot. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. All right, well, you guys, both of you are always welcome. Susan, you're always welcome to join us, although I know this is past your normal bedtime, or at least into the normal time of night where you just take for yourself, which I can appreciate. But you're welcome to join us for any time if you want to come on for one of the live shows, especially if we're going to talk about Trail Hero Sand Hollow.
Thank you. Definitely we'll come on for that. I can tell you this is my first podcast appearance. I've never even listened.
That's okay. Most people who've been on the show haven't either. You're fine.
I'm a book person, so I mean, I don't even really watch TV.
Nathan is a strange cat. Like he's the kind of person who listens to podcasts at 2 times speed, and I tried listening to myself at 2 times speed, and I hated it. But and I don't know how he does it, but that kudos to him, man. Like and. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. If you're not a guest on a podcast, that's a feather in your cap. I think that's good for you. If you're not listening to podcasts, it's also a feather in your cap. That's probably good for you too.
It's not good.
Look, I'm not out here to sell myself. I'm trying to sell good mental health.
Yes, good mental health.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. You guys are welcome back anytime to talk about this stuff. I really hope that we manage to get some sort of reunion thing going on from a show perspective at Trail Hero, and then maybe after the show airs or before the show airs. And that depends on when all of that happens, because the original time frame was August, then maybe October. I feel like it's gonna be somewhere in between that, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how it all plays out and how the cut comes out and what it looks like, guys. So, but congratulations so much on taking the whole damn thing, like by 16 seconds, but still. And it real quick, and this is just a very quick aside, Susan. How good does that 16 seconds feel? Like just like at that core, just guttural place.
It's humbling. It's humbling, the 16 seconds. And we wouldn't have been there without our help and our support.
100%.
And it's humbling, and it does feel real.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to feel good about it. Yeah, embrace it. You guys did awesome.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I said if we're gonna compete, we're gonna compete.
And you competed. Like that's I can bleep that out later, but like you did. It was awesome. I felt like I felt very proud on the outside in, just looking. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Baby cry. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. If you have not already checked out the episodes, but this is only airing after all the episodes, or at least the majority. No, at this point, your guys' episode has to air last. All of the episodes should have aired by now, so go check them out on, I think it's Speed Sport 1 or on your local station, whatever that happens to be. Wherever it happens to be, go check out the show. Go check out Nathan and Susan and Team Danger Zone and Johnny, and you get a chance to meet him and see more about him, because we were up too late for him tonight and he couldn't join us tonight, but that's fine. And Nathan, he's welcome to join us anytime, buddy. Like I realize this, we're usually on too late for him, but if we ever do a show earlier during the day, he's welcome. I don't care. Like I'm
naps.
Yeah, we're
totally fine with that too. Yep.
It is summer. We don't.
Perfect. That's awesome, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see if he naps tomorrow. If you go to bed, I'll let him join me for it. So I think it's an hour later tomorrow, so you probably won't make that. But
yeah, baby steps. We'll do one thing at a time. Just plan for it.
If he can see you, because this is my office, so where you're looking, this is I work from home and we're in my office right now, and he loves video calls, so he would be right there. Like, hey, what are we doing? You talking to me?
That's
I'm talking
fantastic.
to you. Let's talk. Yeah, he'll be there.
All right, so he'll be more engaged than some of my guests. That's fantastic. I like it. All right.
Yeah. Totally. More lively, more talkative, even though he's nonverbal.
Again, there are. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna leave. I feel like I need to stop talking for my own good at the moment. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like he'd be. Let's put it this way: he'd be a preferred guest. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
I can see that.
Cutest one you had.
He absolutely would be the cutest one you had.
That is 100% fair. I would agree with that too. Guys, I love Johnny. It was fun meeting him. It was fun meeting you guys out in the middle of the desert. Still surprised that you said that you'd be willing to meet a bunch of randomish people out in the middle of the desert, but kudos to you. Yeah, let's get out of here, guys. It's late for everybody. Let's see here. Same old. Check out Nathan, Mudhorn Gladiator on Instagram. You guys are Family is the Way Off-Road on YouTube, right? Are you gonna be doing any more with that? Are you kind of
That's it. Right. Family is the way.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope to see you. I know we're gonna see you in Trailer. I feel like you're addicted already, which is awesome.
We'll be back for season 2.
In whatever capacity that needs to be, right? It doesn't. I don't care if you come along. You can just carry cameras. Yeah,
just
exactly.
A cameo.
But you can come along as part of the podcast. We'll do that way. There you go.
We'll bring the zip ties and the valve stem tools.
If Rich could do it, yeah. I feel like too many. if I didn't talk about it too much, somebody else talked about it too much, and it won't happen. So that's fine by me. I think it's better that way. I think he learned his lesson. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening to this particular episode. This is, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and call it. This is going to be our last episode in the series of episodes from Trail Hero Expeditions, and it's been a hell of a ride through 12. It's been a hell of a ride through 12 episodes of all of you guys just kind of explaining your stories and how you got here and decided to come on a reality TV show with a bunch of strangers in the desert. So thanks to you, and thanks to you out there listening, and thanks for riding along with us on this episode and letting us be a part of your off-road adventures. Safe travels on and off the road. As always, stay the trail, and we'll see you next time at the Trailhead. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Heard about Trail Hero X on the Trailhead podcast. Dreams started rolling way too big, way too fast. I signed up thinking there's no way we get chosen. Then the phone rang loud. Holy crap, we're in. Gotta make it happen, no turning back. Load the rig heavy, hit that long highway. Over 2,200 miles, Pittsburgh to the Casablanca lights. Chasing dust, chasing destiny, burning up the street. From the East Coast mud to the desert sun, long roads behind us, the hard part's just begun. Engines roaring, the stars ignite. Trail Hero X in our headlights. A family adventure, miles of red rock and sand. 100-mile plus days with the wheel in our hands. Johnny Danger lives for the trail and the test. Off-road, overland, yeah, this life it's best. Challengers rising on the rocks ahead. Days feel endless, fatigue in our heads. Sun beats down, time slips away. Every wrong line makes the pressure stay. Passing Joshua trees under the desert sun. Every mile, every doubt, every battle won. Steel and grit, dreams held tight. We didn't come this far just to call the fight. Hands, soul, mind, strength, staring at the end. Breathing dust, gripping hope, willing strength to bend. Silence hangs heavy as the daylight thins. We ask the quiet question: can we finish this? From the Zion Heights to the breaking point, every scar tells a story we can't disappoint. When the doubt gets loud in the dead of night, we lean on the fire and we push through the fight. We made it through dust-covered smiles. Johnny gets a cheeseburger after endless miles. An amazing adventure with unbelievably great souls. Strangers turn family, bonded by the road. Every breakdown, every climb, every risk, every line led us here right on time. Holy shit, we won! Let the desert hear. A journey of a lifetime. The moment is here. From a dream on a screen to the story we own, Trail Hero X. Rev it up, let it roar, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailhead's calling, engine power on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every Jeep a home. Meet me at the trailhead, where the wild ones run. The dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the turn in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.